Reese, we thank you very much here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We welcome you to the Rock, where the USM Golden Eagle student section is poised and ready to salute one of the most incredible icons in the history of the sport, Lee Corso, and even the Bulldogs on the road from Starkville. Yeah, they are rip-roaring, ready to go, and what a scene it was just moments ago in Columbus, Ohio. And an incredible career concludes the exact way that it began, with the selection of the Ohio State Buckeyes against Texas. He's Sam Macho. I'm Roy Philpott. Taylor Davis joins us on the sidelines in just 1 minute. An incredible career, the face of the sport, and what a way to go out moments ago.
Even at 90 years old, he's still eliciting reactions that are visceral. I went to Texas, and I'm like, dude, can you pick Texas? As a fan of college football, as a player of college football, there is no one better than Lee Corso.
And you have to admit, you're a little surprised that he didn't pull the okey-doke there and go with the horns at the last minute.
I was hoping for the okey-doke, but the middle of Ohio State, in the middle of that field, imagine trying to get out of 100,000 fans picking Texas. I respect the pick.
It was an amazing scene, and we certainly salute one of the all-time greats, and an incredible moment. Game day rolls on next week, of course. How exciting is that going to be? But we've got a game today to talk about as well that we're excited about. The SEC on the road at Southern Miss, with Mississippi State in town, and these two programs, Sam, they've got a lot to prove.
They do. Mississippi State was 2-10 last season, didn't win an SEC game. Southern Miss was 1-11, but it's not the same Southern Miss. Marshall squad came to town, led by Coach Charles Huff. They won a championship last year. This game may be a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, it's always like that in week number 1. There's no doubt about it. You expect surprises. You expect something to happen along the way. And Mississippi State, with quarterback Blake Shapen, of course, 23 starts at Baylor. He won a Big 12 championship 4 years ago, Sam, playing for the Baylor Bears in a win against top 5 Oklahoma State. What can he do now that he's healthy after playing just 4 games last year?
Well, he brings experience. Blake Shapen in this offense in year number 2, he's grown. Though he was injured, he got better mentally. And so what he brings, a level of experience, a level of confidence, and a level of poise to this Jeff Lebby offense.
Jeff Lebby, year number 2. And of course, the pressure is on in the rough and rugged SEC. Expectations rising with a roster with 65 newcomers, and Blake Shapen, well, he had to sit out all last season, so he has just been waiting in the wings. He's added some good weight, according to him, and he's ready to go today. Meanwhile, for the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, the curious case of Charles Huff, from Huntington to Hattiesburg, and he brings a championship roster with him here.
Well, not just a roster, but also a culture. He brought over 25 players from his time at Marshall, 21 starters and 4 walk-ons. That speaks to the culture piece. He also brought some of his coaching staff as well. So though this Southern Miss team was 1-11, they're not coming in with a 1-11 mindset. They're coming in thinking like champions.
ESPN College Football presented by Serve Pro. Temperatures in the upper 70s, humidity at about 1,000%, as it should be near the Gulf Coast. And we are ready to go for what should be the most scintillating week 1 slate we have seen in college football history. Golden Eagles won the toss and deferred. Bulldogs will receive the football as we are underway at the Rock. And a touchback means Blake Shapen on the field first for MSU. Jeff Lebby, the head coach and also offensive play caller for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. We talked with him yesterday, Sam. He's excited and ready to move past what was a disastrous first campaign.
Disaster is the right way to put it. 2-10, one of the worst defenses in all of college football. But he talked about how it allowed him to grow, to experience adversity, to understand what it's like at the bottom and at the depths, and to come out on the other side.
From the 25-yard line, Mississippi State in the maroon and white uniforms. USM, Southern Miss in the black and gold. Starkville about 150 miles due north of Hattiesburg. A good number of Bulldogs fans have made the trek down. Shapen out of the gun on snap 1, eludes the pressure. Shapen does have some wheels and escapes for a short gain, give him 3 on first down.
A little bit concerning if you're looking forward. I get it's the first snap, but this is a rebuilt offensive line of Mississippi State. They're replacing 3 starters, so you got to watch out for this pass rush early in the game.
Jamon Tapp with the tackle, 2nd down and 7. First possession in Hattiesburg. Delayed give to Von Booth, 3rd-team All-SEC last year, and a patient finish ahead towards the 30. Isaiah Gibson after a gain of about 2, maybe 3.
You'll see different types of pacing in this offense. Yes, they want to go fast, but on third down, they want to get a look at the defense, see what the look is, and take their time. So expect quick plays early, but third down, that clock's going to tick down to about 10, 9, 8 before they make a final decision.
Third down and 4. The Bulldogs like the tight end here. They will find Traore, who grabs the football out of the air, and a first down, a gain of 12.
It's one of the players that Jeff Lebby talked about last night when we met with him. Traore, he's a guy who you need to keep an eye out on for this offense.
Bulldogs will show tempo. Booth races out of the backfield and looking for the OU transfer, Brennan Thompson. It'll be 2nd and 10.
We talked about that pace. You saw how quickly that snap came, and now on second down, they're looking to the sideline. They're kind of getting their feet under them. Of course, this is week 1, and so you have an idea of what you want to do, but sometimes it doesn't always work the way you expect.
What emotional scene in Columbus, Ohio moments ago. Hard to believe the finale. Coach Corso, former Florida State standout, the Sunshine Scooter, now sails off in the sunset in retirement. Shapen, gonna take a shot. Traore has it, and just like that, the Bulldogs are on the board in Hattiesburg. Macho from 57 yards out, and Traore's got some wheels.
Yeah, Seydou Traore, he's 6'4", he's a tight end, but he has a double move on this play. You think they're going to go quick. You think it's going to be a lot of quick game, but it's not that. It's going to be a little bit of a double move, almost like a slant and go. Blake Shapen has time. Traore's in the slot. He slants, and then he goes. Beautiful route, but it only happens because the quarterback has time to get it off.
75 yards in just 5 plays. We talked to Jeff Lebby late last night. They wanted a fast start. They got it.
Yeah, that's what you need when you're starting with a new team. You talk about some of the transfers on this team. You need a level of confidence early to believe what you thought you had in the offseason.
Cal Ferry, the extra point, 57-yard pitch and catch. Seydou Traore, awfully impressive. The jumbo athlete from Blake Shapen, who's got a lot to prove this season.
We talked with not only Coach Huff, but also Coach Lebby, 2 teams who struggled last year, and they both talked about how important the mental side of this game was going to be. You're trying to find a new identity. Both teams combined for 3 total wins. So if you want to find out who you're going to be, oftentimes it's how you start is what matters the most.
Now the play action fooled that USM defense, and the Golden Eagles bringing in a lot of Marshall transfers with Charles Huff. They were fooled, and Seydou Traore, transfer from Arkansas State, has settled in nicely in Stark Vegas.
Traore is the guy who grew up in London, hadn't played 11-man football at all till he came to America. His hope was for a D1 scholarship. Well, now he's accomplishing more than just that dream.
I was hoping for a D1 scholarship, too. It didn't quite work out that way.
Height-wise, Roy, you didn't really, you know.
We didn't pass the eye test.
But you were a kicker, though, so maybe you had a couple stars next to your name.
Marlon Hawk will kick things away from Mississippi State. It didn't take long, less than 90 seconds. And deep into the end zone, Golden Eagles will have it at their 25. And we check in for the first time this season with Taylor Davis. Taylor.
Well, Roy, Southern Miss quarterback Braxton may be making his debut as a Golden Eagle, but he told me he plans to pick up where he left off, which was MVP of a Sun Belt championship team, putting up over 1,600 yards through the air, 600 on the ground, and he has the leadership to match the production. Before taking the field for this possession, he had the entire offense huddled around him, firing them up. He told me this week it's going to be about consistency and discipline, and he leads that charge.
Charles Huff used the word discipline in our conversations 700 different times. It's all about that, trying to spring the upset. Carl Chester, the Marshall transfer, out in the flats and dives ahead close to a first down. The other interesting side note, the Golden Eagles offense in the backfield, numeral 0, his first touch, a Mississippi State transfer. So against his old team, he'll pick up a first down.
Yeah, Jeffrey Pittman, 6'1", 215, transfer from Mississippi State. He didn't play a game for this team last year, but the year before you saw career highs, not just in the running game, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield as well.
Change move, first down, tunnel screen. Chester, second catch, weaving through traffic, nothing doing. Nick Mitchell able to sniff that one out, and a minimal game on first down.
So what we're seeing is not a lot of run game, but a lot of pass game to the outside. Heard from Charles Huff yesterday that they might use that passing game, that horizontal passing game, as their running game to avoid the big, thick interior defensive line of Mississippi State.
Chester motions out. USM with a new offensive play caller this season. Blake Anderson, after a year away from the sport, former head coach at Utah State and Arkansas State. And we will see some wider splits than what we saw a year ago with Marshall's offense. Braylon Braxton was the quarterback there in Huntington. Delayed give, Pittman with real estate in a small crease, racing ahead to the 44.
This is exactly where you want to be, Roy. If you're on, you just gave up a touchdown to a team that you may think is better than you, or you don't know, all of y'all are new, but you're in third and manageable. Great play call.
Blake Anderson now calling ball plays on third down and short. Pittman, a stutter step, jump cut, and close to the first down. Let's see where they spot it. And the initial indication is a first down.
Seeing some of the subs run on or off. So the only time the defense really wants to sub is when they slow down and the offense makes a substitution. That's a time where the referee's going to spot the ball and allow both teams to substitute.
You're in mid-season form, and it's just the start of week one. Our rules expert also joining us, Jerry McGinn, today. We will touch base with him and any controversial call. It's Matt Jones' first touch. Ole Miss transfer. Number 5 in black and gold. Quality pickup on first down.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a little bit of bleeding on the interior of that defensive line. It's not like they're getting pushed back. It looks like Southern Miss is owning the line of scrimmage.
Jones again to the edge. He will not get there, and the pursuit was rock solid. Bulldogs defense stepping up. Tanner Johnson emerging from his safety spot. I think back to Mississippi State a year ago. Led in tackles by Isaac Smith. He had over 120 on the season. Playing that hybrid role. Coleman Hutzler's defense, play caller in Starkville on that side. Numbers were high, but that spoke to the lack of production up front. Braxton to the perimeter, reached the football ahead. Let's see where they mark him out, short of the first down.
Two different spots. So the far side referee spotting as if he's got the first down, but the near side says he's obviously short. Looks like they're 4th and 3 or 4, and the offense is on the field. Looks like they're going to go for it.
4th down, 2 yards to go.
4th down and 3. Kyron Heath in motion, the tight end for the Golden Eagles. And the play clock winding down. Braylon Braxton will look towards his head coach. And on 4th down, a stoppage with a timeout on the field. 5 minutes in, 7-0, the SEC here in the heart of the Sun Belt. The early advantage with Mississippi State.
You're watching Kickoff Week, presented by Modelo.
Motions running high back at the Rock, and a delay of game penalty as we went out to that last break results in 4th down and long, and that means the Golden Eagles electing to punt after the infraction. Jack Murley sends it end over end deep into the red zone, and the fair catch. Bulldogs take over. We check in for the first time with Matt Berry in the studio. No Darian Mensah, no problem to start against the Big Ten for the Green Wave, considered perhaps one of the favorites to emerge as a playoff contender this season. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, and Bulldogs with possession after the punt back at their own 6-yard line. Happy New Year. That's a great way to frame it. And the conclusion of great Lee Corso's career with his selection of Ohio State moments ago at the Horseshoe. And fireworks starting in Hattiesburg for two teams trying to bounce back. 7-point advantage. Fluff Bothwell in at running back for the first time. A transfer out of South Alabama. Into the flats. First grab for Brennan Thompson. A shake and bake and shoved out quickly. Gain of about 5, and Anthony Richard Jr. put him out.
I know this is not a huge deal, Roy, but if I'm a corner for Southern Miss, I'm seeing all these passes in front of me. You have to make sure to stay patient to not get beat like we saw last time.
Bothwell spitting, and Fluff Bothwell, 5'10", 230-pounder, led the Sun Belt in touchdowns scored last year with 13 in just 12 games. He was stopped by Chris Jones. Now a big third down coming up for both sides.
And once again, I'd go back to that quick game if I'm Mississippi State. You see the corners are playing off, pass it quick.
Shaping straight ahead, the quarterback run game, and diving across to pick up the first.
We're going to see, so spread out, empty formation. So what you're going to understand is that when it's empty, the quarterback sees nobody's in the middle of the field. Okay, great, I'm going to look you off, and I'm going to get 3, 4, 5 yards. Brilliant play call by Lebby.
A healthy Blake Shapen making all the difference in the world to start, and that pass is going to be intercepted. Michael Montgomery. He was looking for Traore. Montgomery read it, and just as we were singing the praises, Shapen throws the pick.
Forget about the praises. What a play by Michael Montgomery. That ball was actually placed in the proper position, but Michael Montgomery said, no, it's not going to be a turnover. It's going to be called a takeaway. I'm going to take the ball away from Seydou Traore, and I'm going to get on my back so the ball does not hit the ground. Brilliant, beautiful play by Michael Montgomery.
Montgomery, the pick. USM, the field position, the transfer out of Portland State, and Jeff Lebby with a word for his quarterback. Prime field position for USM as Braxton is back on the field. Play action, wants it all. Front pylon and tapped away at the last minute. Carl Chester was the intended target, and Diego Brumfield swatted that one out of the sky.
Yeah, swatted out of the sky, but you got to watch. There was a holding on this call, on this play that wasn't seen. The corner is going to be pulling on the back of the jersey of the receiver, and the referee didn't see it. And unfortunately, I guess unfortunately for Southern Miss, fortunate for Mississippi State, that was not called.
It is an SEC officiating crew on site today, led by referee James Carter. On second down, they'll float the screen. Crowd quickly by Pittman. No running room, and a short pickup. It'll be third.
Yeah, if I'm Southern Miss, I am not afraid to attack the corners of Mississippi State. There's a lot of transfers who have come in, but only one has remained. And the weakness of this team is not on the inside right now, it's on the outside.
Third down. Golden Eagles end zone again in attack mode. And the coverage was brilliant on Micah Davis by Kelly Jones.
We talk about the one returner. Kelly Jones is that one returner. That was a beautiful play by Kelly Jones, the cornerback number 1. He's in phase. Look at his eyes. Look at his feet. He doesn't hold. He stays in phase, gets his head turned around, and gets that inside hand to try to deflect the ball.
Reed Harradine from 43 yards out from the left hash. 13 of 19 a season ago, a transfer from Grambling, and the right-footed kicker sends it on its way, and the Golden Eagles on the board. Seven to 3 our new score. 7:54 remaining in our first quarter in Hattiesburg. Check in again with Matt Berry. Surprise. Everybody in society picked against the Orange in that game. Nobody puts Fran Brown in a corner. He has been an incredible acquisition for the Orange.
Led Syracuse to a 10-win season last year, one of the best passing offense in college football. I'm excited about Syracuse and Fran Brown.
Bulldogs get it back, their third possession in our quick-moving first quarter. The screen pass, Ricky Johnson to the perimeter, spinning out of bounds. Golden Eagles attack from the linebackers, and that back end after the early touchdown pass, it's been better the last 2 drives for MSU.
It is, but both teams have to stay patient. You cannot get paranoid at this moment, whether it's because of an interception or quick passes. Stay patient and trust your fundamentals.
More tempo, play action, slant pass is dropped. Hayden Williams with a penalty marker on the field near midfield.
Looks like it's 12 on defense. You saw some confusion. You saw one of the defenders try to run off the field, and he got back on the field. That's what happens early in the season. 12 men on the field for defense.
Illegal substitution against the defense.
Clean start.
12 players on the field, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Before now.
The reason why plays like that happen are you're not only have you transferred, but also it's your first game. So you're thinking, okay, who do I look to on the sideline? And you got some people yelling out nickel, some people yelling out dime. You have to kind of get your feet beneath you and focus on the right thing.
I'm guessing that happened to you at Texas or with the Bears. What is that feeling like as that extra defender that shouldn't be there?
Well, it's embarrassing because you're like, well, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be here. If I would have known, I would have been off. But everybody's yelling at you because you made a mistake.
After the infraction, first down scamper, Devon Booth. Now, Devon Booth, the extended family, 7 brothers, 4 sisters. He's got a deeper meaning, also a 3-year-old son that he's playing for. Born on August 6th, that is the reason he wears that number 6, and a powerful ground gainer, Sam. And we expect big things out of this year in the SEC. On cue, Booth into plus territory.
It's his patience for me that stands out the most. He's not the biggest back, under 6 feet tall, but he's patient, and he gets great yards after contact. Patient, yak, and also can catch out of the backfield.
Didn't have yak on the bingo card that early in the first quarter, but there goes Booth again, a stutter step. Well, you see the moves in the arsenal on full display, racing near the 30.
And I love the vision as well. I love how he's setting up different defenders. Watch Devon Booth set up not just 1, but 2 defenders. He's going to make Chris Jones, number 35 on defense, miss. And then Corey Myrick's going to miss as well. Watch that, boom. Inside, outside, boom. Another miss. So the great thing about running backs is not just about your size or your speed, but also your vision to set up defenders down the field.
Bothwell back on the field after a gain of 16. And a timeout called by the USM defense. We will take the break with them. 7-3. Charles Huff searching for answers on defense when we come back.
The college football playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN.
Back in Hattiesburg, it'll be here before you know it. Jeff Lebby, his offense, impressive to begin and on the move, nearly 10 yards per play to start. Here's the swing pass into the flats, a cut by Anthony Evans, and spinning out of bounds near the first down with a penalty marker coming in, make that 2 after the play.
That's a great block by wide receiver number 4, Jordan Mosley, on the outside. You saw the corner trying to get outside. Mosley held the block to get that play to spring.
See what James Carter has to say.
Offense number 4, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Held the block. Maybe I should have said held on the block. Great early on, but not good enough at the end for Mosley.
As a defensive player, former linebacker, and you get held, do you start barking at the officials right away?
No, you don't bark, but you try to flail just a little bit. You try to push yourself off and show them that you're holding. You see Mosley right there doing good early on, but at the very end, you see that last little push. Josh Moten, who's a dominant corner, tries to get off that block and accentuate it for the referee to see.
Yeah, Moten may be one of the most talented players on the field for any of these units this afternoon. Jordan Mosley the other way. Try to get some of that penalty yardage back. He will towards the 32. And Richard a tackle, just a gain of 3.
So it's not the yelling or barking at the ref, but it is the piece of making sure the referee sees that you are getting held. Sometimes they don't see it or they don't like to call it. So as you try to work to fight to get off of a block, that effort is going to allow you to get the penalty called.
10 minutes in, Bulldogs by 4. Motioning out is Evans. He'll get the swing again. 3 straight plays similar to that call, and the Golden Eagles with Ian Foster all over it. It'll be 3rd and long.
One thing I love about these last 3 plays is that it's a clinic on how to play defense on the outside as a corner. Everyone is at the right spot. The outside corners stay outside to force everything back inside. The safeties, the nickels, the inside linebackers are rallying to the football. So this is clinic tape when it comes to defending outside passes.
Just 6 in the box for USM. On 3rd and long, time for Chapin across the middle. Penalty marker comes in. Bothwell escapes ahead for the first down. And tiptoeing down the far sideline. And we'll mark him out near the 7. Let's check the infraction, and this one will be coming back.
Formation. Offense. More than 4 in the backfield. 54 is not on the line of scrimmage. 3rd down.
So the illegal formation, Sam, and Blake Steen, the right tackle, not positioned correctly. That negates a gain of 25.
It does. As an offensive lineman, your head has to break the center's waist. If your head and your helmet is not breaking the center's waist, you're going to be called not on the line of scrimmage, and that will equal to an illegal formation. Oftentimes, they will warn you. So Blake Steen was likely warned beforehand, and after that first warning, the referees will call it.
So instead of 1st and goal at the 7, it'll be 3rd and 16, way back at the 37. Crowd in it here at the Rock. Time for Chapin. He'll survey and escape. Chapin brought down from behind. Jamon Tapp all over it.
So one thing I love, we saw a couple quarterback draws. Watch the 2 interior defensive linemen. They're dropping in coverage. Chapin's looking in the middle. He sees nothing because the defensive tackles, they didn't rush up the field. They dropped into coverage. So I love that play call to try to give the quarterback, Blake Chapin, a different look.
Well, Charles Huff excited to bring the majority of his coaching staff with him, including defensive play caller Jason Seymour, and now Kyle Ferry. Left-footed kicker from 55 in the left hash. On the way, Ferry connects the double nickel from downtown.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. That was a nice kick. 55, week 1. Respect.
Searcy, Arkansas native, 10 of 12 a year ago. And the walk-on kicker. Little room to spare on this one, Acho.
Yeah, he looked good in warm-ups. There was a level of confidence, level of poise. I didn't see him hit it from this far in warm-ups, but as he was progressing down the field, you saw Ferry have this level of, hey, coach, put me in the game. I will do my job.
10-3. 3:35 remaining in our first quarter. Don't forget our Labor Day weekend magic will continue this entire weekend on ABC and ESPN. Our featured games later today: Alabama, Florida State, the newly renovated Doak Campbell Stadium on ABC, and primetime tonight in the Top 10 Showdown. SEC and ACC. Will the real Death Valley please stand up? And tomorrow and Monday, the Beamer Bowl with Shane Beamer leading the charge against his dad's old team and his alma mater in Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Miami, TCU, North Carolina. I mean, a full buffet, a slate of incredible games.
Who is the real Death Valley, though? That's what I'm trying to find out. Is it Clemson? Is it LSU? Will we find out tonight?
I think that's the answer.
Ooh.
Whoever wins tonight, there are bragging rights, it feels like, for eternity in terms of who the real Death Valley is, because LSU down in Baton Rouge, they referred to it as Death Valley. Clemson in upstate South Carolina, the exact same. And there was some chirpiness, some chippiness, I should say, and some chirping on social media this week as a result.
Brian
Over
Kelly.
the head of Micah Davis. And the touchback coming as we take a look at our college football headlines. Presented by Subway. Chapel Bill. Yeah, Bill Belichick in the heart of the ACC at North Carolina. That debut Monday against TCU. Arch Madness, of course, right now in the horseshoe. Feels like it could be the year for James Franklin in Happy Valley. And then Bama and Clemson could be back this year. We will see. Let's party like it's 2018 when they met in another national championship.
Yeah, I'm excited about that Penn State football team. They're returning so many starters on offense and on defense. They added running backs coach Stan Drayton, who was at Ohio State coaching Ezekiel Elliott. He was at Texas coach Bijan Robinson. They have 2 great backs. Now you have a great coaching staff, not just a head coach, but assistants to go along with it.
the best week 1 slate I think we've ever seen with all of those games. And to top it off, the icing on the cake, Coach Corso in his final selection, his final appearance on College Game Day. Within the last hour, I mean, America was looking forward to that moment the entire summer.
I just still wish you would have picked Texas, man. I mean, I told you beforehand, I was like, dude, why is he? No, I was mad. I was upset.
I've never really seen you that angry. Sam Acho, generally speaking, a very nice guy. Weaving through traffic, Doc Chapman. And the Marshall transfer from the Marshall transfer quarterback, Braylon Braxton. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, Jerry McGinn, our new rules analyst, joining us today as well. 3rd down coming up for the Golden Eagles. Back on the field, an early field goal, and that is all they have to show offensively thus far. And that was set up after the interception by Montgomery. Braxton escapes. Dual threat, lowers the shoulder, and the boom. That's a chain mover.
Well, we talked to Charles Huff yesterday, and he said with Braylon Braxton, everyone rallies around him. Now I know why. If your quarterback is lowering his shoulder to get a 1st down, you want to get behind that because he tells you, I'm going to put my body on the line for you. You do the same thing for me.
So on 3rd and 4, Braxton picks up 5, and not this time. Pittman in at running back, who began his career at Mississippi State. And you know the Bulldogs are going to have something to say about what he does this afternoon. And a loss of 1 on 1st down. Will Whitson broke through. Now the Bulldogs with 65 new players this year, but they also return 11 total starters. Revamped defense. Caden Morris his first catch. And the 5th-year senior from Louisiana. Bold sport. It'll be 3rd and short.
And I'm not afraid to use Braylon Braxton's legs again. I understand it's 3rd and 2. You can run the ball. But don't be afraid for maybe an RPO or allow Braylon Braxton to make the decision to pass it or to run it like he did last time.
High snap, corralled quickly. Stutter step deep in the backfield, and USM needed 2 right at the chains.
Jeffrey Pittman, the ball carrier.
Well, Pittman tried to find a way to weave his way through traffic.
Should be trying to come and measure this. That looks a little bit too close to know. There it is. 1st down.
Another
Right foot spot. Coming in at the last minute. Moves the stick. So 1st down, Southern Miss. And about a minute remaining in our 1st quarter. Robert Briggs, you do wonder what it's like as an official, your first game, and you're trying to shake off the dust, the cobwebs, so to speak. You want to get it right. That's priority number 1, of course. Pull a couple of guards and a couple of tackles, amounts to nothing. On 1st down, Robert Briggs in at running back. Now they Sanders. Right at the line, it'll be 2nd and long.
And I understand that was a nice stop on defense, but the problem, at least for Mississippi State, is that you've given up 2 3rd downs on this drive. So if you get 1 more 3rd down, you're getting gas. It's been a lot of time on the field. As a defender, you're thinking, okay, we got to get off the field 3 and out. It's not happening right now.
Play action on 2nd down. Braxton goes underneath, tied in on the comeback, and incomplete out of the midst of Kyron Heath. It'll be 3rd down. Tanner Johnson able to jar it loose as well. He was in right the line of sight on the pass. 8 seconds to go in the 1st.
A great play by Johnson. But I go back to that idea of, yes, it's a hurry-up offense. So as a defender, you're trying to catch your breath. You have to get off of the field because the longer you stay on the field, the more prone you are to make mistakes because you get fatigued.
Third down and 10, and Braxton have to run one more play at least at the end of the quarter. Off the screen. Ahead towards the 45 into plus territory. It's Carl Chester. His 3rd grab and a gain of 9. It's going to be 4th and short to begin our 2nd quarter in Hattiesburg. 15 minutes in, the lead is 7 for Mississippi State on the road. Exciting day of college football. 7-point advantage for Mississippi State on the road here in Hattiesburg against Southern Miss. Samacho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. That is Braylon Braxton. Started his career at Tulsa, then moved to Marshall, and was the MVP of the Sun Belt Championship game just 1 year ago in the preseason. Offensive Player of the Year in the Sun Belt to start 2025. At his third stop, and now it's 4th and 1 to begin our second quarter. Power set. Braxton lowers the head, drives the legs. Didn't need much. And I'm not sure the Bulldogs, the penetration, the early indication he's going to be stopped short. Jere Bledsoe was there to meet him at the line.
Jere Bledsoe is a transfer from Texas, and we chatted with Jeff Lebby. Jeff Lebby said he's excited about him. The size of athlete he is, nearly 300 pounds, 6'4", but he can move. That's when you talk about transfers and make a difference. He's one of them.
Mountain of a man, 6'4", 315, and only a redshirt junior. And Braxton, he's got some size and some pop, but he was met with plenty of resistance.
Yeah, when you're 6'4", 300, and you're holding out somebody with one hand on the inside right there, that's pure strength and power. Watch it, one hand, great strength, and then you have the ability not to get knocked back by the offensive lineman trying to block you or the quarterback, but to hold your own. Great play by Bledsoe. Impact transfer.
The defense for the Bulldogs under the microscope last year, the worst in the SEC, to the tune of 34 points per game and more than 450 yards. So they've tried to remedy that situation this season. Johnny Daniels on the field and eluding the first wave of attack back at the 40. As we check in again with Taylor Davis after a loss of 4.
Roy, a lot of conversation around the iPad down here for this offensive line. Keep in mind they are without Luke Work here today, who was slated to start at right guard. A lot of shifting pieces. New offensive line coach Phil Lodeholt trying to get these guys on the same page after some of those penalties on the last drive.
Play action. Here's the screen. And Daniels upended after a short gain. So quickly it's 3rd down and long.
This defense for Southern Miss, Roy, they look ready. They look regular season ready, especially on the outside. The corners, the safeties, they are rallying to the football. They are doing their job. They are assignment sound and making good decisions.
Xavier Gayton on the field. Shaping a pump fake, buys some time and throws it out of bounds. So a 3 and out after the 4th down stop.
Hey, so I want to go back to that, to the 4th down stop that Mississippi State had. I didn't like the decision by Charles Huff. The reason why is that earlier in the game, 4th and short, he decided to punt the ball right around midfield. This time he decides to go for it. I think it was the wrong decision, but his defense made him right. That's how, as a player, you could say, man, I don't really care what the coach does or says. I'm going to make it work for me. Didn't like the call, but because of the players on the field, they remedied it.
Nathan Tice, Bulldog punter, New South Wales, only a freshman. And Metcalf with a fair catch of the 19. A punt of just 36. Golden Eagles get it back, trailing by a touchdown. 1 minute into our second quarter in Hattiesburg. Bulldogs by 7 back in Hattiesburg. 1 minute into our second quarter. Head coach Charles Huff won a championship in the Sun Belt just 1 year ago as the head coach for the Marshall Thundering Herd. Braylon Braxton, the MVP. Couple of touchdown strikes as Charles Huff, in his final day as Marshall's head coach. Of course, he would move on to Southern Miss within 24 hours. Was being talked about and rumored to be in the mix for a number of jobs, and he left in a huff from Huntington to Hattiesburg, Sam. And we had a great conversation with him yesterday and setting the table for this game. He's engineered some big upsets in his head coaching career. Over Virginia Tech while he was at Marshall, and then at Notre Dame against the Fighting Irish just a couple of seasons ago. He brought with him more than 20 of his players. And a championship roster, Braxton being one. He'll scamper ahead for a first down in a 7-yard gain.
And we asked him, hey, what is the formula for an upset? He didn't say it's about this matchup or that matchup. He said it's about discipline and culture. If our culture is better than theirs and it's close at the end, we're going to win.
We'll move the sticks. Braxton's going to be tripped up, and he fell down near the 26-yard line. That's going to be a loss of 4. The pocket collapse. Second time in our first half we've mentioned Will Whitson And he has been disruptive, the transfer from Coastal Carolina.
Well, the defensive line was a weak point of the Mississippi State Bulldogs team last season. They brought in a lot of transfers on really in every single level, but we're starting to see the impact early in this game.
And the emphasis, at least on offense, now facing a three-man front, was to increase the size. Across the middle, and a short pickup, they'll get that lost yardage back. 3rd and 9 coming up. As Matt Jones grabbed it, Silla brought him down. Malik Silla, transfer from Texas A&M. Charles Huff said yesterday, you mentioned the word discipline. He just wants it to be in range in the 4th quarter. And he looked at all 3 of us in the meeting room and he said, if we're within striking distance, we will win. 3rd down for Braxton. Goes through the progressions. Across the middle, and it's corralled into plus territory. Caden Morris, and a gain of 28 on 3rd and long.
We talk about attacking the outsides of this defense, and I say outsides, really the back end. That's corner, that's safety. Great job looking off. Whoever really was a mistake. Nobody was in the middle. Somebody's supposed to be in the middle, but great job by Braxton finding the mistake in the offense.
Chester in the flats, dives ahead inside the 40.
Sometimes Roy, all you need is time, right? Like defenses, they bust, they make mistakes, somebody's in the wrong gap, or somebody blitzes when they're supposed to drop. If you have a little bit of time, that's why the offensive line is so important. You give your quarterback the ability to find the mistake of the defense and make your offense right.
5 transfers starting on the USM offensive line today, ranging from McNeese to Utah State to South Carolina over on the left side with Aaron Parks. 2nd down, Braxton slings it, passes, hauled in, and it's Elijah Metcalf for a 1st down and a gain of 12 more.
And we're starting to see the confidence start to build for Braylon Braxton there, not just with his legs and the quarterback run game, but with his arm. He's going down the middle of the field, attacking the outsides. Great job.
5 straight completions, to your point. Pittman eluded 1 defender. He'll make something out of nothing, and a positive gain. Could have been a TFL.
And I love what you said, something out of nothing. Jeffrey Pittman played at Mississippi State last year. He's played in the SEC. He understands that you can't go backwards versus SEC defenses. So he could have got a 3-yard loss. No, instead of trying to drag it out, get vertical, get a 2-yard gain.
Robert Briggs back on the field at running back. More of the scat back variety, 5'9", 185 from Utah State.
If I'm Southern Miss, Roy, I'm attacking the outsides. Like, I understand the run game. Attack the corners.
That's going to be my next question with Blake Anderson calling plays. When will they be aggressive? Towards the front pylon. How about now? And the pass is caught. It'll be 1st down and goal for the Golden Eagles. Carl Chester again, right over the back of Kelly Jones.
Well, you think about it. Kelly Jones has been here before, but this is a defense that struggled last season. Last time around, Kelly Jones got his head around. This time he didn't. Notice his head is still looking at the receiver. Get your head back around.
Here comes the tempo. There's the pass towards the end zone, and it's incomplete. Metcalf on the spin was not available, and Micah Davis also in the area.
So now, okay, we talked about attack the outsides. Things change, right? You're in the red zone now. You're at the goal line. You have a physical running back. You have a physical quarterback. I would attack. I wouldn't be afraid to run an inside zone at least 1 time to see if you can get in the end zone.
Golden Eagles trying to apply some more pressure against the SEC. Braxton swings it out and shovels that one out of bounds. A dangerous toss. It'll be 3rd and goal.
And the reason why I say it's okay to run down here is that everything gets condensed when you start getting lower and lower in the red zone. And so there's less space for receivers to run. Everything becomes more horizontal than vertical. So it's okay to try to run the ball. You may not be as big or physical, but all you need is 1 sliver of hope to get into the end zone.
Sam, they'll empty the backfield here, and you wonder if quarterback run becomes involved with Braxton on the 12th play of the drive. Now Pittman motions out. Braxton wants to throw it off the back foot, in the air, and caught for the touchdown. Micah Davis found a way off the carom. Hunter Washington got a fingertip on it.
People say it's better to be lucky than good. This was not luck. This is focus. This is concentration. Look at Micah Davis. He tips the ball, but look at his eyes. His eyes are finding the football. Hunter Washington's trying to defend. Does a good job, but that's not luck. That's practice. You work on things like that. Tipped ball drill. Great awareness by Micah Davis.
Can I get a SportsCenter top 10 there on what could be a game-tying touchdown pending the PAT? And Braylon Braxton starting to warm up, 6 of 8 on that drive for 71 and the touchdown.
It's still 11 o'clock kick for a SportsCenter top 10. That's a nice play. I like it.
It's the appetizer.
Yeah, it's the appetizer, man.
All right, we'll talk to Micah about that after the game.
Don't talk to him yet. Don't talk to him. He'll be mad at me.
Extra point. Paradigm. And a thing of beauty. Poetry in motion for the Ole Miss transfer, Micah Davis. Finding a way in the end zone, Sam.
Sometimes you got to make your quarterback right. The ball was a little bit behind Micah Davis. Micah Davis didn't matter. Ball gets tipped up in the air. Tips and overthrows. Got to get those for the offense.
ESPN College Football, presented by Serve Pro, is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work.
Some tailgating happening outside of the Rock, aka MM Roberts Stadium. They call it the Rock because back in the 30s, the football team helped move some concrete to help build the original facility. And some 30,000 strong expected today. Kind of a late arriving crowd in the morning, and now towards the afternoon, plenty to feel good about. The debut of head coach Charles Huff, tied at 10 here in the Magnolia State Showdown against Mississippi State.
You could feel the energy from the stadiums, from the crowd, from the fans, from the students. There's a level of excitement, but now they're seeing it in action.
Paradigm sends it deep. And over the head of Booth, Bulldogs will have it. At the 25, we check in again with Matt Berry. Orange, incredible numbers last season under head coach Fran Brown in terms of passing yardage. At some point, you feel like that offense is going to find its rhythm even without Kyle McCord.
True, but Tennessee's defense was really dominant last year. I understand they lost guys like James Pierce to the NFL in the first round, but that defense is starting to turn the corner in the SEC.
Booth in at running back, Chapin. The Baylor transfer, 23 starts in Waco, won the Big 12 championship as a freshman. And we check in again with Taylor Davis.
You both mentioned the energy in this stadium. Well, the Southern Miss sideline after that score was electric. It's like Coach Huff told us, you put pressure on the team that is, quote, expected to win this game by your discipline and consistency, encouraging the guys to show more of that.
We've seen it so far. Traore, a reception, and a penalty marker comes in. That was against Anthony Richard Jr. Sam, for the most part, a clean start in this one. A couple of penalties on both sides.
Sideline warning, Southern Mississippi. This is the only warning of the game.
Taylor had mentioned they were excited. I think they're a little bit too excited. Oftentimes when you get pumped as a player, you're cheering up everybody. You're getting, look at even Huff. Coach Huff is getting everybody hyped. You need your get back guy, right? I don't know if Coach Huff has one of those guys that's like, you know, a strength coach says, hey, get back, get back. Might be hard to get him back. He's a big, strong individual.
Stops at Alabama and Penn State. He recruited Saquon Barkley to Happy Valley, and those two remain extremely close to this very day. Dynamic recruiter, and the record speaks for itself as the head man. The upsets he pulled off against Marshall on 3rd and short. Michael Montgomery with force, and number 17 in the black and gold gets it done.
Yo, which team is in the SEC, Rob? I'm just trying to figure out, because this Southern Miss defense is looking dominant, especially Michael Montgomery on the inside. So you know what's going to happen. Watch him just avoid both blockers and get a tackle for loss. That's a huge play, because this stop is going to lead to solid field position and momentum for Southern Miss.
4th tackle for Montgomery and the interception. A transfer from Portland State. Was an FCS All-American there, and the film didn't lie when you watch him play at the level below. It has resonated and translated well here at this level. And you talk about getting hype. Montgomery, Charles Huff, The USM sideline on fire. We're tied at 10. Golden Eagles get it back.
Tied at 10 here in Hattiesburg. Head coach Charles Huff, truly known as a player's coach, credited for recruiting and developing running back phenom Saquon Barkley, who had a message for Southern Miss's new head coach.
Coach Huff, want to wish you and the boys at Southern Miss the best of luck in week 1. I want to say thank you for the impact that you have on my life. I want to be the player, the man I am today, emotionally, physically, mentally, all things above. So Southern Miss, yeah, I got y'all a great one. Much love.
It is a pretty busy time for a guy like Saquon Barkley, so says a lot about his continued relationship with Coach Huff that he took the time to do that for him.
One of the greats in the NFL, and of course we remember his time at Penn State, and Charles Huff, a lot of pride as a recruiter, now as a head man and learning from some of the best in the game. James Franklin, Nick Saban, time in the NFL as well. And the world champion Saquon Barkley with a message. 2nd and 5 after the pitch and catch to Heath. One incomplete, and the coverage was ample with Brumfield right on top of Braylon Brown. And you go back to 2018, the NFL draft. Coach Huff in the house.
It talks about the relationships that coaches build, and not just relationship from a recruiting standpoint, but from a development and a belief standpoint. Saquon Barkley became Saquon Barkley during his time at Penn State, but also he's becoming Saquon Barkley now. Charles Huff believed in him and allowed him to grow into who he is.
Golden Eagles will take their time. 5 for 8 on 3rd down. 5 rushing first downs in this half to start for USM. And Braxton has been a factor in these situations. A little too much time that time and a timeout call. So halfway home in our second quarter.
30-second timeout.
Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. And why not now for our Aflac trivia question, my friend, because it is time for the Aflac trivia question, and it puts a smile on my face because I know that means this is a bigger game. And I'm curious to see which direction production is going in here as we take a look in this Magnolia State matchup. Bulldogs and Golden Eagles, last 10 years, which 3 former Mississippi State defensive tackles have combined for 15 Pro Bowls. This is in your wheelhouse, Mr. Linebacker.
Well, I got one of them.
We encourage you to consider the options for a moment. All right, you got 2 out of 3. I think I've got 1.
Teamwork makes the dream work. We don't got the same guys.
I think we have the same
one. Oh, no.
3rd down. One of those players wear number 91, thinking out loud. 5 yards to go. Tie ball game. And a methodical approach for this play. Quarterback run off the draw. Braxton first down. Well, he couldn't pick up the yardage on 4th and short earlier in the quarter. No problem on 3rd and 5 later on.
Notice the change in this draw. Last time there was more of a delayed draw. This time Braylon Braxton got to the draw quicker. Notice how quickly he gets upfield. He's seeing Mississippi State rush up the field. He gets underneath the defenders. Great adjustment.
Time for Braxton. Matt Jones. And dancing out near midfield. We've seen all 3 running backs utilized for the Golden Eagles. Sean Shepard ushered him out of bounds right at the 50.
One thing, Roy, I love about Braylon Braxton's game is that he's not a quarterback that if the first read isn't there, he's going to take off and run. If the first read isn't there, he's going to look to the 2nd and 3rd, and he still may take off and run, but his eyes are downfield. Makes it nearly impossible for a defender to know what he's going to do.
Handoff to Jones, and slung backwards. So right at the 50, he'll gain about a half yard. 3rd down coming up with Isaac Smith. First team all SEC, led the conference in tackles a year ago. And number 2 in that hybrid position. All kinds of ability. Golden Eagles 5 for the last 6 on 3rd down. Time for Braxton, heaves one deep. Man-to-man coverage and swatted away. Carl Chester, the intended target. Kelly Jones. That has been a great battle all half
Yeah, and it was swatted away not by DB Kelly Jones. It was swatted away by wide receiver Carl Chester. Kelly Jones was in phase. Watch his eyes get around. Look at him. Boom. Eyes are around. He's in phase. So you see Chester swat that ball away to avoid the interception. Great job.
What Coleman Hutzler, defensive play caller for the Bulldogs, told us yesterday at the team hotel. Kelly Jones looks the part. As Jack Murley sends it over the head of Evans and into the end zone. So well played there. Bulldogs on the touchback. It'll put Blake Shapen back on the field after a net of just 29 yards. So let's answer that Aflac trivia question. Sam Acho, the floor is yours, my friend. Give me perhaps 3 Mississippi State defensive tackles combining for those Pro Bowls.
So give me Chris Jones, number 1. Right, he probably got about 10 Pro Bowls himself. Jeffrey Simmons.
Number 2.
Number 2.
I had Jones.
Number 3. I mean, I know Pernell McPhee, but I don't think he got that many Pro Bowls. I don't know who's number 3.
Fletcher Cox.
Oh, beautiful. Fletcher Cox. Dominant for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's in a retirement now, so I don't know what Fletcher's up to nowadays, but got a Super Bowl under his belt.
Our guys here in the booth, Bill Garrity, Ed Svita, all over the Aflac trivia question. Your humble announcing team, perhaps not quite as much. 2 out of 3 is not bad. Handoff far side. And upended, chop down crossing the 30. Bothwell able to pick up positive yardage. Josh Moten. At some point in this game, Moten will be a factor, we believe, given his ability to cover, and he's physical too in that defensive backfield.
He is. I believe it was 5 interceptions last year. He's in phase, great eyes, good size. Really good player.
Was also in the portal, leaving Marshall, recruited by Mississippi State. So I think he's got something to prove today. Bothwell tackled by Ian Foster, 3rd down.
I was going to say this is the most critical drive of the game. This is the most critical 3rd down of the game. Remember last time, 3rd down, Michael Montgomery made a big-time tackle, had to punt it away. There have been 2 quick 3-and-outs that Southern Miss has forced on Mississippi State. You could see and feel the crowd in it now. If you get another one, it's going to be a problem.
Mario Taylor checks in, number 1 in maroon and white. First time we've seen him. The freshman out of Macon, Mississippi. And ahead only needed a yard. He'll pick up that and then some. So a wrinkle added for Jeff Lebby's offense. Shapen back on the field after Taylor checks out, the highly touted signal caller.
Yeah, true freshman who everyone in Starkville is excited about. But Smart getting a bigger individual on that 3rd and short.
6'4", 230. That certainly qualifies as bigger compared to Shapen. Play action across the middle. Wide open, 1st down into plus territory, Anthony Evans. So a gain of 19, and here comes MSU.
See, when you get that 3rd down conversion, it gives you space on 1st down to get back to your normal offense. Anthony Evans, a 3rd, is going to come right across the field. Great job by Shapen, avoiding the underneath defender.
Tempo again, play action again. Shapen steps up. Dangerous pass, Brennan Thompson. Blanket coverage with Moten right over the top, a gain of 7 more yards.
And that's a name we thought we'd hear more of early. Brennan Thompson, the speedy receiver, transfer from Oklahoma.
How about the pace we're seeing now by the Bulldogs? The pump fake, there's a penalty marker, and this one coming back on the hole. Blake Steen, the guilty party. And that will negate a positive passing play.
Offense, number 54, 10-yard penalty. 1st down. Correction, 2nd down.
Now Steen, part of that revamped Mississippi State offensive line. They wanted more size. He comes in from Virginia after 3 seasons in Charlottesville.
Yeah, but it's one thing to have more size, but as an offensive line, you need to play together. There's 5 playing as one, and so on that play, Steen may have thought he had help on the inside, and he didn't, or maybe he needs to know, okay, I'm one-on-one, I have to be better with my hands. So it's hard to get offensive linemen to gel if they've all transferred from different places.
Shapen almost like a quarterback robot. He spins and delivers the pass incomplete. A late penalty flag flies in. We're about 20 yards out. Marcus Allen, coverage by Moten, and perhaps too handsy that time.
Defense, number 1. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
So Josh Moten is a guy we've talked about a lot, hyped up a lot. You're going to see the PI, you're going to see the penalty, but what I care more about is the mental side of this. What do you do after a penalty like that? You can't grab the backside arm, obviously, but how do you respond? As DBs, you have to have a short-term memory. Forget about it, move on to the next play.
Bulldogs with all 3 timeouts remaining. USM with just 1, plus the 2-minute stoppage. Another flag. Ian Foster coming up from his secondary position.
Illegal formation against the offense. Number 74 was lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So it's interesting. Coach Charles Huff was actually standing right next to that referee on the side saying, hey, look at 74. He's not on the line. We talked about it. They had been warned before, but they didn't make the adjustment.
So they declined the penalty. It's a loss of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd down. So the holding penalty, the pass interference penalty, and then the alignment issues into the flats. Brendan Thompson. It'll be 3rd and short. Jeff Lebby talked with us yesterday about Brendan Thompson, the most electric wide receiver he's ever coached. And here comes a little extracurricular activity. And Moten continues to talk down there on the sideline near the Mississippi State side of the field.
Looked like he may have got hit late by offensive lineman Zach Owens. Josh Moten's one of the most talented corners in college football. We talked about it earlier. He was in the transfer portal, was getting recruited by a bunch of different schools, including Mississippi State. Chose to follow his coach.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the offense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the defense. Those penalties offset. 2nd down.
Offsetting penalties. And it's starting to get a little chippy. Now those are dead ball fouls, so that down should count to force 3rd down from the 30.
So you saw it there. So Josh Moten holding on to the leg of Brendan Thompson. Brendan Thompson saying, get off me. Josh Moten fighting.
3rd and 3. Bouncing it outside and up for the first down, Bluff Bothwell. Well, a spark with his size, and that time a little speed, a gain of 10 on a play that was doomed from the snap.
You talk about his size, he's 230 pounds, but what stands out more than anything is his patience. Look at him, he's patient enough not to try to stick it in there, but to find the outside. Great run by Bothwell.
Jeff Lebby said he's got a chance to be special in Starkville. Lassoed from behind, a loss of a half yard by Mason Clinton. Number 95 in black and gold. Both of these teams have held up at the line of scrimmage, I think it's fair to say, with a lot of new faces and transfers coming in.
It feels like this drive, though, means more.
Movement, Chapin, and they'll stop it. Let's see who jumped first.
Flag of the field.
There was a little contact as Clinton came across the line of scrimmage. The Golden Eagles.
Offside. Defense, number 95, in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So at 3-5, are you inclined to maybe take a shot at the end zone here?
Not yet. The running game has been effective, whether it's been Booth or Bothwell, but it just feels like, going back to that point earlier, this drive means a lot. Earlier we saw that Southern Mississippi State was backed up, got that first down. It seems as if momentum is going to be decided the next few plays.
Oh, we cannot wait. How about E.J. Manuel entering the chat? Great job he's done after the 2-minute timeout. 2nd down for Mississippi State. Devon Booth Full head of steam and bouncing ahead. He'll pick up the first down. It'll be 1st and goal and a gain of 10.
Yeah, I love the play call because you're keeping the ball on the ground. You've been dominant really on the ground, but now you slow down. I understand you want to be fast-paced, and Jeff Lebby, slow down, take your time. Don't leave time for Southern Miss to get the ball back.
Traore in motion, and the line shifting right as the ball was going to be snapped. That looked awkward. Sam, why is it, as soon as I said this has been a clean first half? I mean, the jinx is in full effect already.
We understand this being broadcast to millions. Maybe the referees might be listening as well.
Everyone but the center moved that time. They don't listen to us, do they?
Sometimes.
False start. Offense. The entire offensive line. It's a 5-yard penalty. This also includes a 10-second runoff.
Film room tomorrow will be interesting when the entire line moves except the one guy that needs to actually move.
I love it. How do they split up that penalty? Because sometimes you grade film. It's like, okay, is this a penalty for the left tackle, right tackle, everybody? 1/5?
1st down and goal from outside the 10 for the Bulldogs. After a 2-win season last year for Jeff Lebby, he was ready to get on the field for year 2. Shapen just stood there like a statue. Makes something out of nothing ahead towards the 10 at Jabari Ishmael. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Not the worst thing in the world. You didn't take a sack. You got back up to the line of scrimmage. The clock is ticking. So you're still in a perfect position to get points without giving the ball back to Southern Miss.
Booth, the running back, he's gone. Now Shapen into the flats. Traore. Backwards out of bounds near the 6. 3rd and goal. Josh Battle helped usher him out.
We're talking about that bend but don't break. This feels like a little bit of that bending, and I respect it from Southern Miss. They're not allowing the offense to get to the end zone. They understand there's been a lot of run game and quick pass game to the flat. Critical 3rd down when it comes to keeping Mississippi State out of the end zone.
At the end of the half, it all comes down to this. Drive that's over 5 minutes long. Shapen towards the 1. The pass is hauled in, but short of the goal line for Brennan Thompson on the comeback.
See that clock still running. He was going backwards. He was going out of bounds. Once again, not a bad thing. I would say bring in big people again.
Camario Taylor heard exactly what you said. Number 1 in maroon and white back on the field. And here we go on 4th and goal. 15 seconds to go. Bothwell on the field flanking Taylor. And the 6'4" frame will see the defense call a timeout. Big moment here at the end of the half.
And big people. There was an extra offensive lineman on the field along with Camario Taylor, the 6'4" freshman. I love the timeout there by Southern Miss. Understanding the size of the moment. If you can hold them here, not only do you keep points off of the board, but you get the ball back at halftime. So this is critical for multiple reasons.
Charles Huff, the Rygren, you love that. Don't forget, we'll cap off our stellar Labor Day weekend college football lineup Monday night right here on ESPN. Bill Belichick, welcome to the ACC in Chapel Hill, North Carolina hosting TCU. Horned Frogs with Josh Hoover back at quarterback and Sonny Dykes. Our coverage begins at 8 Eastern and also streaming on the all-new ESPN app. So Blake Shapen, a spectator for the freshman quarterback on 4th and goal, and the most important play of the half with just 10 seconds to go.
Not just any freshman, Roy, a 6'4", 230-pound freshman. He's a phenomenal athlete, Camario Taylor is. Let's see if he'll use some of that athleticism on this play.
Fourth and goal, here's Taylor to the edge, to the end zone. Penalty marker comes in late, and a holding infraction coming.
Holding. Offense, number 10, 10-yard penalty. 4th down.
A massive sequence at the end of the half, and it will cost the Bulldogs at least 4 points.
Correct. They're bringing the field goal team on, and Cam Ball, number 10, when that ball goes to the edge, you got to get your hands inside. You're going to see him lined up right there as a tight end. you got to keep your hands inside. You can't grab on the outside shoulder. It's going to be called every single time. If you don't get that hold, it's a tackle, so I understand what you're trying to do. But Cam Ball's got to be better in that situation.
Transfer from Buffalo, a 30-yard field goal attempt coming. Already with a school record 55-yarder in the books today in the first half. And the Bulldogs connect. And a drive in which the offense committed 5 penalties on the possession. They find a way to score 3, but it could have been more.
Yeah, and it felt like a win for Southern Miss. Of course, you get 3 points on the board. You're going into halftime, it looks like, with a lead. But you drove all the way down the field. You got into the end zone just to be called back because of penalty. So the way this game is going, the locker room speech at halftime feels like it's going to be a lot of emotion and excitement for Charles Huff, this Southern Miss team.
Some of that here in the booth so far today as well, right? Blake Steen helped off the field as we take a look at today's weekend lineup, brought to you by Wendy's. And coming up when we're done in Hattiesburg, 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart under the radar. Can you believe that? Between the hedges, Alabama, Florida State. The Aggies welcome in the Roadrunners and head coach Jeff Traylor at 7 o'clock in prime time right here on ESPN. And then the main course late in Death Valley, top 10 showdown SEC ACC.
Cade Klubnik versus Garrett Nussmeier. I get it, quarterback on quarterback, but it's really going to be a defensive storyline. Clemson defense is returning Peter Woods, TJ Parker, Avion Terrell, but also they have Tom Allen as their defensive coordinator coming over from Penn State. That's going to be the biggest difference. And then can Blake Baker, LSU's second-year DC, turn up the heat?
3 seconds to go in the half, and that nifty bounce for the touchback by Hawk. So a 6-minute drive ends in 3 points. Bulldogs will have the lead at the break. That does not feel insignificant. Could have been more, but I'll be honest with you, Sam. Talking to Charles Huff this week, he just wants this to be a ball game in the 4th quarter, and he thinks the pressure will be on the Bulldogs, and he likes his team's chances.
Correct, and there are no moral victories. This is not a situation where if Southern Miss keeps it close and loses, they're happy. No, both teams want to win this game, and that means something, especially when you're coming from 2 programs with 3 total wins last season.
And we've got top 10 matchups across the country this entire weekend. 13-10 our score at halftime here in Hattiesburg, and the Bulldogs a lead over the Golden Eagles. Avocados from Mexico halftime report right now with Matt Berry.
Yeah, we just got to play cleaner football. Like in the first half, again, the penalties on the offensive side of the ball were a killer. The turnover on the second series, get out of our own way, go get a stop here and go score.
You told us offensively you wanted to be balanced. 18 rushing plays, 18 passing plays. How can the offense continue to produce?
Yeah, we want that. We got to score touchdowns in the red zone, and we've got to have great production. So play cleaner football this half. Got to start right here.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks.
Dello.
And ESPN College Football presented by ServPro, back at the Rock in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Sunbelt versus the SEC, and a great game brewing between 2 Magnolia State rivals. Mississippi State leading Southern Miss 13-10. We are halfway home here in week 1 as we take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Tums. Our quarterbacks, Sam, they both played pretty well to start.
But the one difference is that one interception by Blake Shapen, that changed the outcome of the first half. So turnovers, as we know, are a huge difference.
He's Sam Acho. I'm Roy Philpott. Taylor Davis joins us on the sidelines in just 1 minute. An incredible slate of games this entire weekend through Labor Day night. And this one right now, very competitive. We expect more fireworks.
We do. We talked to head coach Huff yesterday of Southern Miss. He said that, yeah, there are tiers in the SEC. He really said there's AFC, the NFC, and the SEC. But then he said there are tiers. And Mississippi State right now, they're not in that top tier. He feels like there's an opportunity for an upset.
All right, so second-year head man Jeff Lebby with some work to do to try to close this one out strong on the road, and a good crowd, a great atmosphere on hand here today. Who knows what these final 2 quarters will reveal to us. We are ready to go as Charles Huff and company set to receive our second half kickoff. We got close games around the land. Incredible week 0 in the rearview mirror. Now week 1 taking center stage. All these leagues trying to put their best foot forward. Looking towards the 12-team college football playoff once again. Marlon Hawk towards the end zone. And from 2 yards deep, Ian Foster comes out. The crease and a nifty run back. And moments ago, our Taylor Davis caught up with the head coach of the Bulldogs, Jeff Lebby.
Coach, a 3-point lead. What adjustments did you address at the half?
Yeah, we just got to play cleaner football. Like in the first half, again, the penalties on the offensive side of the ball were a killer. The turnover on the second series, get out of our own way, go get a stop here and go score.
You told us offensively you wanted to be balanced. 18 rushing plays, 18 passing plays. How can the offense continue to produce?
Yeah, we want that. We got to score touchdowns in the red zone, and we've got to have great production. So play cleaner football this half. Got to start right here.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks.
Taylor, thank you. And Jeff Lebby, year 2 in Starkville in the Southeastern Conference. Never an easy road or path. Braxton back on the field. A hop, skip, and a jump towards the 35 and ahead to the 36. Isaac Smith, the tackle. Jeff Lebby told us yesterday, Sam, we asked him probably in 2 or 3 different ways. Adversity last season, how did you handle it? Who did you lean on? And he said, really no one. In that moment, you have to fight through it yourself. That is my personality. That's what I did. Back shoulder fade and incomplete. Carl Chester spun around by Kelly Jones, and just like that, it'll be 3rd down.
Well, everyone's different. Some people go to different coaches who have been through adversity, maybe colleagues or friends. But Jeff Lebby's dad was a coach, so he's been in locker rooms. He's been in field houses his entire life. So I think he probably learned from his dad of how do I win? How do I lose, but how do I stay consistent no matter what the outcome is?
Easier said than done, and now Southern Miss, 3rd and 5. Metcalf motions out. Braxton looking his direction. Now goes underneath, and Carl Chester will move the chains. Isaac Smith, a tackle. Gain of 9 on 3rd and 5.
And you saw right there, Braylon Braxton going through his progressions. Not the first read being gone and running. No, first read, second read, third read, boom, ball's out. That's what I love about his game. He's not as, he's more patient. He's more patient, not as much of a runner.
Morris in motion. Deep give to the MSU transfer, Jeffrey Pittman. And bottled up, he's going to lose 3.
And I love the early shot, at least the early pass play that we saw from Braylon Braxton. I wouldn't be afraid to go back to that. Keep on attacking the outside. I understand that Kelly Jones, a 6'4", 190-pound corner from Mississippi State, may not be the main person to attack, but attack the outsides. You've had success in the passing game.
Last win by Southern Miss in this series way back in 1988. Through the progression and batted down. And Malik Silla reached up, and the pass incomplete. 3rd and 13.
Great job by Silla, the 6'6", 255-pound linebacker, getting his hands up in the air. If you can't get there, get your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care.
Headset issues on the Bulldogs sideline. Southern Miss 7 of 11 on 3rd down. That's been an effective start offensively. Set up the screen. Pittman leaps for the grab. Stop well short. Right back to the original line of scrimmage. And how about Isaac Smith? Late flag comes in near midfield. Well, Smith has turned into Superman to start this second half. Much more active.
He led the SEC in tackles last year as a safety. He's somewhat of a hybrid safety, outside linebacker. He has the mindset to be able to do it all.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, offense number 84, 15-yard penalty. 4th down.
Went a launch there at the end on Pittman. And the foul goes against Southern Miss. So a promising drive retreats on 3rd and long after the penalty. And Anthony Evans back deep for the Bulldogs. Waiting this punt from Jack Murley. Reset the play clock. End over end punt that comes up short towards the 34. Evans brought down there. Punt of just 35 yards. Nothing on the return. Sam, we were wondering for a moment there if there was some late contact in that last play on third down. Barreling in at the last minute. One more angle. We can bring in our rules analyst, Jerry McGinn, also watching. Jerry, what did you see in that sequence on third down?
I don't really see a late hit, Roy. I see more of a possible targeting foul with the defender lowering his head, hitting the back of the helmet of the runner.
And of course, the booth does have the option to stop play and take a look at that sequence. Did not happen there. Traore over the left side. Amir Foster stopped him near the line of scrimmage.
We had a couple looks at that, and I was trying to find where is the late hit, and I didn't see a late hit. Maybe the tight end had to hit a little bit away from the ball, but I didn't see a late hit even after several looks of the replays.
So now it's up to the Golden Eagle defense. Shapen off the screen, full head of steam, and the hurdle out of bounds. A big play for Anthony Evans III.
That's one of the players that Coach Lebby told us to keep an eye out on. Brandon Thompson, number 0, but number 3, Anthony Evans III. Watch this hurdle just over the defender, over Josh Battle. Looking like he's about to go to the Olympics or something.
And we saw Saquon Barkley do that a time or two just this past season.
He did it backwards. He did it backwards, though. Saquon was backwards. That's different.
He's done it in a multitude of ways. Evans, the transfer from Georgia. Good speed and athleticism on full display. Shapen off the back foot. Thompson on the comeback. Brennan Thompson. There he goes. Racing towards the end zone. And he gets there. Late flag inside the 5.
During the run, holding. Offense number 3. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Second block to try to spring Thompson.
That's just a lack of discipline, bro. I mean, there's no other explanation. You have Brennan Thompson, one of the fastest players in all of college football, making that guy miss, making another guy miss. He could just run to the end zone, but Anthony Evans, for some reason, decides to hold. You don't need to hold in that situation. You're taking points off of the board. We've seen Mississippi State beating themselves so far in this game.
2 touchdowns negated by penalties, including one on 4th and goal at the end of the first half. And instead of the 6 points, they'll move it to 1st and 10 from just inside the 15. Ron Booth tripped up inside the 10.
This is a point where I understand like you're beating yourself. We saw it last night. Georgia Tech had 3 fumbles, still beat Colorado. You have to be able to overcome. Get the ball in the end zone now. Maybe it's going to be Booth in the running game. Maybe Shapen has a quarterback run. But you have to get that stigma of, man, we can't win. The way to erase that is by scoring with discipline.
After a gain of 6, delayed handoff. Booth searching for blockers. He'll find them towards the goal line. And stopped inside the 1. It will be enough for a first down. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs. And we saw Timothy Lewis Jr. trying to carry his running back across the goal line.
Well, you do a lot of weightlifting as an offensive lineman. Now you're people lifting. Lift him up, keep him off the ground, try to get him in the end zone.
Back to live action. No gain on the play. 2nd down and goal. And this is where the drive started to bog down for the Bulldogs at the end of the first half. It's a touchdown scored by the freshman quarterback Kamario Taylor, negated due to a penalty. And now Bothwell on the field flanking Blake Shapen. South Alabama transfer Shapen barking out instructions. Evans with the shift. Bothwell straight ahead. Penalty marker comes in. No indication yet. And whistle just short of the goal line. Let's check the penalty.
Illegal formation. Offense. More than 4 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
7 penalties now against Mississippi State, Sam, coming in critical moments.
It's a clinic of what not to do. This is the 3rd illegal formation, the 3rd time an offensive lineman has been lined up off the ball. It's going to be the tackle on the opposite side, I believe, not the one we just circled on the opposite side right there, 74. His helmet is back. Mind you, this is a running play. He needs to get a little bit forward so his helmet can cross the center's hip. Jimothy Lewis, left tackle, needs to understand the situation. You've been called for these penalties, your offensive line has, time and time again. Don't try and steal inches to get an advantage. Run the right play.
Williams in motion. Bothwell to the edge, and he's in for the touchdown. He led the Sun Belt in that category a year ago as a freshman at South Alabama, and Bothwell from 6 yards out. And the Bulldogs now with a 2-score lead, Sam.
We see Phil Lodeholt. I know the touchdown, but that's offensive line coach Phil Lodeholt, who was talking to Jimothy Lewis. And you saw head coach Jeff Lebby talking as well. There's a sense of frustration. Yes, congratulations on the touchdown. Great job by Fluff. But some of these offensive line issues are going to need to be resolved if Mississippi State wants to be successful, not just in this game, but for this season.
Oh, you think about the schedule, and next week a playoff team comes to Starkville out of the Big 12 in Arizona State. And problems on the point after, the hesitation, and a great job by Kyle Ferry. Already a school record 55-yard field goal today. The PAT there. And Bothwell into the end zone here.
Great job by Fluff Bothwell. No one was there. The block on the edge into the end zone. 2010 Mississippi State.
Bulldogs with their largest lead over Southern Miss on the road here in Hattiesburg. Call it 10 with Samacho, Roy Philpott, and Taylor Davis. Here's the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más Student Section of the Year. Who will take home the trophy this year? And a great job at the Rock by the Southern Miss students, thanking the GOAT, Coach Lee Corso, the Sunshine Scooter, in his final game day broadcast earlier this morning, and selecting Ohio State for pick number 1. Check that, 431, just as his career began with the mascot head way back in '96. We'll take a look at today's road tests, brought to you by Goodyear. We'll do that in a minute as we take a look at our Sunday night baseball matchup. Series finale between Matt Olson and the Braves. Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, the NL East leading Phillies. 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, also on ESPN Radio. Coverage starts 6 Eastern. Baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown.
Is Kyle Schwarber still hitting homers?
He is.
Currently, he had 4 the other day. What we got?
4 in one game, nearly had 5, just missed it in that final at-bat. He's got that shortened swing, difficult to deal with. Braylon Braxton's been a tough out in his career, a Sun Belt champion last season, playing for the Thundering Herd. And speaking of Kyle Schwarber, there is a connection to Coach Corso. Do you remember? Yeah, he was on game day, and it wasn't that long ago. And of course, Lee Corso, the former coach at IU with the Hoosiers back in the day. Great look with the baseball cap on, too.
He looks like a linebacker, maybe more like a fullback. He looks like a fullback, Kyle Schwarber does. Maybe could have an NFL career after baseball. 2-sport athlete.
I think he.
Deion Sanders, Coach Prime.
Oh, there you go. Coach Prime got the L last night against Georgia Tech. That was a well-played game. The Tech did everything it could with those 3 early turnovers to give it away, and credit Brent Key's team and Haynes King. It's interesting. When King starts limping around, Georgia Tech is at its very best.
Yes, you know he's going to get better. He starts limping, and you're like, oh, it's on for everybody else. It was the weirdest thing. You saw him like with the side of his, his side or his hip, and all of a sudden he's running for touchdowns.
3rd and 7. Workmanlike approach so far from Mississippi State. Briggs, the running back. Braxton with a clap and the snap. He'll buy some time and a little bit more. Off the back foot into traffic and nearly intercepted twice. There was a carom, a deflection, and swatted away by Tillman. Isaac Smith off that bounce nearly had the pick.
Well, I don't know what Isaac Smith was trying to do. What do I mean by that? He high-pointed the football. He couldn't come down with it. I wonder if he was trying to bat it back down so he didn't come down out of bounds. You're going to see Isaac Smith, safety, going down towards the numbers. Right, ball's going to be up in the air. He's going to high-point that ball. Look at him. But it feels like he pushes it back to his teammate because he knows his foot's going to go out of bounds. So, to me, that looks like a heads-up play by Smith.
I agree with you, Smith. A heads-up play. High football IQ, if you will. Awkward hop to Evans. And lasso to the 31. 10-point lead for Mississippi State here in Hattiesburg. And the Bulldogs get it back after this. Interesting, Matt Berry here in Hattiesburg, a 10-point lead for Mississippi State over Southern Miss as we take a look at today's road test brought to you by Goodyear. Now is the time. A big win for Auburn yesterday in Waco, an impressive start for Jackson Arnold. 7-0 still at the Horseshoe, a bit of a surprise. Bama, Florida State, LSU, Clemson. What are you thinking later today?
Well, that Bama, Florida State game is going to be huge. Alabama has a dominant offensive line led by Caden Proctor.
I mean, you mentioned Caden Proctor. You can't just end it with Caden Proctor. Well, he is a mountain of a human being.
The 6'7", 360 or so pound, we'll give him some grace, Caden Proctor. But also Florida State has 8 transfer starters on their offensive team and 1 freshman, so only 2 returning starters on offense for Florida State.
And Tommy Castellanos as the quarterback. Crossing pattern, the spin by Thompson and upended quickly and with authority, but enough for a first down. And here comes a penalty marker, Corey Myrick. And you wonder if targeting could be involved here, Sam.
Well, that's probably what they're looking at. They're going to look at number 1. Is there an indicator?
Halfway through our 3rd quarter, and the Bulldogs starting to take a step down the
Personal
path
foul.
of control.
Targeting, defense. The previous play is under review.
Corey Myrick with the stop, and we will bring in our rules analyst, Jerry McGinn. And Jerry, what did you see on the field?
So the call on the field is targeting, and I don't see this as a targeting foul. This is just a defensive player going low for a hit, and I think it's a clean. I think they're going to reverse the call on the field and leave the defensive player in the game.
Big news, if true, for Mississippi State. Or for Southern Miss, rather. But for Mississippi State and Brennan Thompson, it's a violent hit as he was spinning and then coming downwards towards the turf, and that shoulder dipping in.
Correct, but he wasn't down, which means he wasn't a defenseless player. So he wasn't defenseless, so you're looking at, number 1, is there forcible contact to the head or neck area?
The result of the play, first down.
A great call by Jerry and also by Sam Acho, and the call is overturned, no targeting.
Yeah, for someone to be defenseless, they have to be down, right? That elbow has to be down, the forearm has to be down after they've made the catch, of course. And so he was not a defenseless player. That was a good hit.
Well, Jeff Lebby told us yesterday, Brennan Thompson, who he coached at Oklahoma, 1 more year in Norman before arriving in Starkville, he called him the most electrifying wide receiver he's ever had, from his time at Baylor to his time in Norman and now at Mississippi State. And that is a lot of praise. Tackle in the backfield, not so much. Bouncing out is Daniels. Daniels with a first down. And a magnificent run for number 20 in maroon and white. Into plus territory, a gain of 13.
When you think about contact balance, this is the video that's going to come up. Watch Johnny Daniels avoid number 1, Chris Jones. Then he has another defensive lineman who he avoids. That's called contact balance. People hit you, you don't fall down.
Now a senior, Daniels with a spark. Long throw across the field. Marcus Allen dropped it. Taylor, we talked a lot about Brennan Thompson this week, and he has lived up to the hype so far.
Yeah, Roy, I talked with Blake Shapen about his addition, and he said it's been perfect because it's a guy who actually knows this Lebby offense better than I do, if that's possible, having played at Oklahoma in it. He said it allowed us to skip the intro transfer awkwardness at the beginning, go straight to building that chemistry.
And the chemistry has been strong. A stop at Texas for a year, then OU, now at Mississippi State. Comeback route, Jordan Mosley in another first.
And just going back to your point, Taylor, Brennan Thompson, he's not the biggest guy, but he fits the system well. He's 5'9", he's 170, spent time at Oklahoma with Jeff Lebby. He understands the offense, but there's a level of maturity to him as well. Just got married a couple months ago. His focus is on ball.
On first down, long throw again and incomplete. And a little bit of contact on Thompson. It took a little while for the football to get there. Ibrahim met Thompson almost as the pigskin arrived.
And what did Jeff Lebby say about him yesterday? He's like, all he wants to do is play football. Was it hunt and fish? That was it. You know, so he's a simple man. He's a simple man.
He's in the right place in Mississippi, I'll tell you that.
I would say so. Bothwell back on the field, 2nd and 10, and Thompson from Spearman, Texas. Those Lone Star State prospects coming out of high school. Aiden Williams on the screen. He'll dance out just shy of the 25. 3rd and short coming up.
And it's cool, just going back to Brennan Thompson, the maturity, talking about him getting married in May. And now you have like that sense of focus. It's like, man, I'm mature, I'm older, I'm a husband now, I'm a leader of this team. He's coming in to bring a sense of leadership to his teammates.
Empty backfield, Shapen. Williams again, enough to move the chains. Well, they're going back to the well with this offensive philosophy employed by Jeff Lebby. It's not the air raid, it's more of the spread, a little veer and shoot, if you will. They have a little bit of everything with his background.
And it forces you to be patient as a defense because you have guys like Brennan Thompson who has speed. You don't want to press them, but if you're playing 5, 6, 7 yards off, they're going to take these easy access throws and use them as runs.
Evans went in motion. Bothwell again to the perimeter. Puts his head down and plunging across the line to gain. It'll be 1st and goal.
And Jeff Lebby almost was offended yesterday when we said, what do we call it, a run and shoot offense? He was like, no, dude, we want to run the ball. Like, yes, we're passing, we want to be balanced, but we are at our best when we run the ball.
And the rushing yards starting to mount up for Mississippi State. Bothwell with blockers. Stopped at the 1. You got to imagine for Mississippi State in 2025, you got Bothwell, 230 pounds in between the tackles and around the goal line. Let's see. Back to the well one more time. There it is. And a touchdown for Mississippi State. And he's got something to say afterwards. 24 in maroon and white. Quite the acquisition via the portal.
Quite the drive to start the second half for Mississippi State. This is what you wanted it to look like to start the game. You are bigger, you are more physical, you want to impose your will. You don't have to spread it out as often, but when it's time to be physical on lesser opponents.
So now 3 straight scoring possessions for Mississippi State. And Sam, momentum was teetering at the end of the half with the penalty negating the touchdown. You kind of wondered, Southern Miss gets the football to begin the 3rd quarter. Whatever Jeff Lebby said at halftime, it has worked thus far to his team.
And the extra point is good.
Talk about Fluff Bothwell, the 5'10", 230-pound transfer from South Alabama. He has patience, strength, speed, intelligence, and finds the end zone. 27-10, Mississippi State.
From the Stream Center to the multi-view option of the new ESPN app, the way to consume college football in 2025. Make sure you get your access now as Mississippi State is back in front. Now with its largest lead at 27-10, Braylon Braxton back on the field, and Taylor Davis, a very busy day for the Braxton family.
It certainly is. Dad Real and Mom Brandy Braxton flew in from Texas yesterday to catch their son Braylon's first game here at Southern Miss. But once the game is over, Roy, they are headed to Oxford, Mississippi. Braylon's brother Jalen is a defensive back formerly at Arkansas, and in a twist of fate, Brandy told me, he transferred to Ole Miss this past offseason. Both of her boys now playing football in the state of Mississippi, having home openers, one-day game, one-night game, so both parents getting to watch their boys play in person to start the season.
A twist of fate that is outstanding for the Braxton family here in week 1 to be able to see both sons in action.
And they have a daughter named Kayla who's an athlete as well. She runs track at Baylor, taken after her mom who ran track at Houston. This is an athletic family.
Well, after the touchback, Southern Miss will get the football back.
During the kick, personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 53 of the return team. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchback, first down, Southern Miss.
So from the 25, Golden Eagles get it there. Sam, if you are Charles Huff, you're not out of the game yet, but the Bulldogs have all the momentum. What do you need to see to score some points on this drive?
Well, I want to see a few runs early. I don't want to abandon the run game right now. Get a couple yards in the run game, and then I'm going back to attacking the outside. I'm attacking some of these new corners at Mississippi State. I don't want to abandon the run, but I want to start with the run.
Braxton, play action. Trying to thread the needle, and he could not. The pass is intercepted. Lanier comes up with it right in front of Carl Chester, and the Bulldogs force the turnover.
Well, if they know you're going to pass it, they're going to play pass. Great job by Brian Lanier playing his coverage. Notice he's going to sink and get depth, and when you get depth as a corner, depth is your friend. He's going to get underneath that route, an extended catch, unbelievable, not just presence, but technique by Brian Lanier.
My friend, you said they need to run the football. They try to throw it to that intermediate distance, and they come up empty, and the large cowbell essentially signaling the turnover for the Bulldogs. It's brand new this year, and they're excited.
Yeah, and the reason you want to run the ball is because when a defense knows you're one-dimensional, it allows the defensive linemen to tee off on the quarterback and the DBs to know they're only playing pass. So you want to at least to try to stay balanced in this third quarter.
So the best starting field position now for Mississippi State. Johnny Daniels, the running back. And they will shift Chapin out into the slot. And a wildcat look resulting in a timeout, as Max Reese was ready to receive the snap. (27-10) and Charles Huff pointing towards himself. Our Labor Day weekend ABC ESPN featured lineup rolls right along, coming up at 3:30. Alabama, Florida State, SEC, ACC at Doak Campbell Stadium in prime time tonight. LSU and Clemson. Death Valley versus Death Valley tomorrow. Virginia Tech, South Carolina, followed by Notre Dame, Miami, TCU, North Carolina, Labor Day evening. And LSU and Clemson, the quarterback conversation, it's going to continue until we get to the conclusion of the fourth quarter tonight. And right now, according to ESPN, the top two signal callers on display. Cade Klubnik, number 1. Garrett Nussmeier, number 2.
And I'm excited about both of these quarterbacks. Last year, Garrett Nussmeier had some ups and had some downs, a couple multi-interception games. But Cade Klubnik is playing with a more mature set of receivers. Last year, Brian Wesco was a true freshman. Moore was a true freshman. Now they're sophomores. They're more mature.
Aaron Anderson, LSU, say hello. Reese is going to carry it this time, and let's see. Side checks in. Number 5 in maroon and white picks up 6. So a little bit of a wrinkle there. The Bulldogs roster. Play action Chapin. Jeff Lebby digging a little deeper into the playbook. Johnny Daniels. Punishing finish out of bounds, another first down.
And this is where you want to try and get into a rhythm. You feel like the game is already in your hands. Now offensively is when you build confidence. You're seeing some of the unique play calls. continue to be more unique in your play calls to get a chance to work on things that you think worked in practice, but now you're going against the different types of look.
Look at that discrepancy in terms of total yards, 386 to 176. This game was tied at 10 not that long ago. Shapen avoids the pressure initially, and they'll call that a forward pass that hit the turf and is incomplete. Now the arm in motion in that direction.
People talk about push passes like that. That looked more like a push pass to me. I get what you're trying to do, Blake Shapen, to avoid the sack, but you don't want to be that sloppy, because defensive coordinators watch this and say, okay, if you get around him, he may be a little bit sloppy with the ball. Like a shot put. Did you throw shot put in high school?
I did not.
I only asked to say that I threw shot put in high school.
There you go. Thank you. That's a good way to ask yourself that question.
57.5.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Not to toot my own horn, but.
Second down. Inside give. Booth stumbles across the 30. So 3rd and long, and Southern Miss in desperate need of a stop.
Did you do track in high school, Roy? I need to know.
No, I was soccer, football, basketball.
Okay. Point guard.
Point guard, but I shot the ball a lot. I was more of a volume shooter.
Okay.
I didn't play very much though.
Okay. Steve Kerr type.
Wanted to be.
Okay. Respect.
3rd and 8. Shapen retreating. The dump off. Devon Booth has the first down. Well, every play Jeff Lebby digging into that playbook a little deeper for is working against Southern Miss.
Yeah, and not only are the plays working, but the defense is either getting tired or they're losing their technique. Earlier in the game, we talked about how great those outside corners were playing with leverage. That play, they didn't.
Screen to Thompson. And a trio of Golden Eagle defenders bring him down right at the 10. Here Foster got there first.
And sometimes as you start to get either tired or down in the game, it's easy to start losing your technique and to try and say, I'm going to do something to go be a hero. That's the worst thing you can do as a defender, because it'll hurt everyone else on the field.
And an injury, a Southern Miss player down inside the 10. 2:53 to go in our 3rd quarter, and Mississippi State imposing its will against Southern Miss to begin this second half. Blake Shapen's numbers starting to be impressive. Jabari Ishmael able to get to his feet. Shapen completions now to 9 different receivers.
Jeff Lebby said yesterday, you don't have to worry about receivers being a problem for this offense. We are going to get our receivers the ball. And now we're finally seeing it after a sluggish first half.
And we're also seeing this offense and this team looks a lot different with that young man as the quarterback.
Correct. He got injured in game 4. Hurt his shoulder on his throwing shoulder. Missed the remainder of the season. Now he's healthy. You're starting to get a glimpse of what this offense could look like.
2nd and 4. Thompson in motion. Booth straight ahead, the spin move. Powers his way inside the 5. And Taylor, you talked to Blake Shapen this week. He was emotional in getting excited for this game to be back in the fold, right?
343 days since he last got to play in a game. Yes, he was very excited, emotional, driven. He said he was more prepared than ever.
Draw to Booth. Still on his feet. Boy, tough to tackle on 1st and goal. Chris Jones did it.
And I know it feels like the momentum is all in Mississippi State's favor. If Southern Miss wants a chance, this is the time to start going after the football. Trying to punch that ball out, trying to strip that ball when the runner is staying up. You see Devon Booth staying up, trying to fight for extra yards. As he fights, take the ball away if you want a chance in this game.
Jeff Lebby told us yesterday, ideally, Fluff Bothwell, Devon Booth would split the carries right down the middle. So far, it's been more of Booth in terms of numbers, but Bothwell with the 2 touchdowns.
And there are 2 different styles of runners. Fluff Bothwell is more patient. He's a bigger back. Devon Booth has more of that explosiveness to him. When you have 2 different types of runners as a defender, you have to understand who's in the game and what they're going to try to do based off who's in the game.
By the way, did you give me a pick for the game late tonight in Death Valley? I haven't heard your play yet. What was it?
I like the Tigers. I'm just kidding. I like Clemson. I think offensively, they're just as good as LSU, but defensively with Tom Allen's going to be the difference. Last year they played slow. They didn't stop the run very well. Tom Allen is an unbelievable teacher of the game of football. I think it'll allow them to play a lot faster, and everyone on that defense is going to know what they're going to do.
Second and goal. Booth says it's my turn. Into the end zone. He rumbles in for 6.
I love the fact that you're bringing in depth, bringing in transfers, bringing in fluff. But this is an opportunity to show that, hey, I'm here too. Devon Booth was part of this team last season. Over 1,000 all-purpose yards, catching, running, even in the return game at times. And he's back like he never left.
Third-team all-conference last season. A team that struggled throughout the year. And now 24 unanswered on the board for the Bulldogs. Let's go back to the studio, and here's Matt Berry. In the fourth quarter, Sam Acho, what is your knee-jerk reaction to that score?
Knee-jerk reaction is, number one, Julian Sayin and this offense, they're doing the right thing. They're not putting too much pressure on the first-time starter. Number two, obviously I haven't seen the game. We're calling this game, but something's going on either with Texas's running game or with Arch Manning, because Steve Sarkisian said yesterday when we spoke with him, he talked about the idea of, hey, I don't want to put so much pressure on Arch. I'm going to run the ball, run the screen game. It looks like Ohio State and Matt Patricia, their defensive coordinator, is taking that away to try to make Arch beat them.
Bigger picture, Corso was right.
Hey, the game ain't over yet.
Golden Eagles will get it back after the touchback. So we take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Verbo, the top 10 showdown later tonight in Death Valley. On the docket tomorrow, Notre Dame and Miami in a game that also is of that top 10 ilk. See what's happening with Texas trailing at the Horseshoe. What else are you interested in with all of these teams?
Well, Notre Dame, Miami, you mentioned. I want to see Carson Beck. He transferred from Georgia, had an injury last season to his elbow, but now he's healthy. He's going to an offense that saw a transfer quarterback in Cam Ward come in and light it up. So will Carson Beck be able to take Miami to the next level? That's what I'm excited to see against a really good Notre Dame defense.
And now can Braxton get Southern Miss back into this football game? Micah Davis on the screen. They continue to try to test the Bulldogs horizontally. The story in this second half, the Bulldogs defense, and then offensively, they've done just enough. Southern Miss, these drives so far in the third quarter, it has not been good. Straight ahead is Matt Jones.
11 total plays, Roy, to your point, in the quarter. 3 and out, interception, 6-play drive. You got to start getting the ball downfield now based off where the score is.
Jones again back to the well on 3rd and short, and I don't think so. Tyler Woodard anchoring that defensive front. And on 4th down, let's see what Charles Huff wants to do.
Yeah, there's no question you got to go for it. I mean, if you punt it, you're pretty much giving up.
And the punt team trots on the field.
Yeah, I don't like the decision from Coach Huff. I understand that if you don't get it, you're giving Mississippi State great field position, but the way the game's been going, at least this half has been going, your only chance is to try and get a score here.
Murley with no fake attempt called. A wobbler. Evans jumps on top of near the 20. Now the analytics suggesting 4th and short, even that deep in your own territory, this late moment in this game in the 3rd quarter to go for it. And at that point, Charles Huff decided to do otherwise. Lead is 24. So we take a look. Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más student section of the year. We will take home the trophy this year. It was our honor to follow Lee Corso, his final telecast on College Game Day earlier today. As we came on the air, the Southern Miss student section also showing their respect to the legend, the GOAT. And what a scene that was in the Horseshoe.
Yeah, he's been the definition of legacy. He is tied with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, for the all-time lead in interceptions of Florida State history.
How amazing is that?
I was like, I've heard that said. I said, wait, what? Lee Corso? He coached, and now he's finishing his career in media.
The Sunshine Scooter. Chapin was hit hard. The ball came out. And the Bulldogs able to pounce on it. Well, he got walloped deep in the pocket. Jacoby Jackson able to jump on top of it.
Talk about attacking the football. You're going to see a busted assignment from the offensive line, but watch the ball come out right here. Boom. Ball's out. You have to find the football. Great awareness by Jackson to be able to find the football. J.J. Hawkins with the sack fumble. But those are opportunities to try and steal back momentum for the game.
You can feel that hit up here in our broadcast position.
We're back in Hattiesburg, Mississippi State leading 34-10. Head coach Charles Huff joins me now. Coach, we've seen some momentum swings over the course of this game. What's made the difference in the second half?
Yeah, they've done a really good job of kind of leaning on us up front, which they're a lot bigger than us. We've missed some tackles, which allowed them to leak at some yards. They've done a really good job of executing just their base stuff. We've missed some opportunities on offense to kind of keep, up the pace with them. Now we got to try to find a way to chunk some yards here at the end to kind of finish this out.
One more quarter. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
15 minutes to go. Bulldogs have it. And a penalty on Jimothy Lewis. Back end of that interview. False start. It'll be second and long. Blake Chapin during that timeout in between quarters was kind of looking at that throwing hand for a minute. Sam, he got crunched on that final play with the sack. Appears to be okay. Cut back against the grain by Daniels. He's had a nice burst today. And this was the sequence in between the third and the fourth quarters. Right there at the end, you see the sack by Hawkins. The ball pops loose, and then checking that throwing hand. Third down and 11. High snap for Chapin, no problem across the middle. And Daniels stopped short of the first down by Michael Montgomery and J.J. Hawkins. So a highlight reel sequence for Hawkins on this possession, fourth and short. And Jeff Lebby thinking about this.
Yeah, I would think again. You don't want to take any chances. I would guess maybe hard count, see if you get him to jump off sides, but I don't like running a play here.
He's going to chew up the clock. And you can see Lebby on the field. He's got the stop sign up. And looking at calling the timeout. The back end of the play clock. Maybe he wants to think about it for a moment. I'm with you. You would think the 3-score lead. 34-10. That's a lot of touchdowns and 2-point conversions to have a shot. But for Jeff Lebby, it has to feel good to at least start in this way today after a 2-10 beginning last year in Starkville. Now, ESPN College Game Day in Norman next week. Michigan comes to town, and what a great scene it will be. The Palace on the Prairie. And you've got John Mateer, Ben Arbuckle coming in from Wazoo. Michigan led by Sharon Moore, the former Oklahoma player. And he will be on the sidelines for this game. There's a lot to unpack in that matchup.
Yeah, John Mateer is electric. He's a dual threat quarterback. He has a great arm, but I think he's a really good athlete in space. That's one thing that stands out about him. Transfer Jade Knott from Cal is their new running back. They have a deep room over at Oklahoma in the running back room.
Just the third punt of the game. Ethan Pulliam. He was also on the Mississippi State baseball team this past spring. Sends it down towards the 22. And Southern Miss will take over in need of some quick points. That's coming up 34-10 here in Hattiesburg. Matt Barry, thank you very much. You're watching Kickoff Week presented by Modelo. Southern Miss gets the football back, and around the left side is Pittman, stacked up and driven backwards. And nothing doing. Samacho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. The score tells the story. Golden Eagles with a touchdown and a 2-point play will try to get back in it, but Mississippi State has yet to give up any points in the second half.
They have been beating themselves early in this game with penalties. I believe it's 10 so far by Mississippi State, and a turnover. They're starting to play a little bit cleaner, and that's allowing them to be more dominant in this game.
Chase Malamala on the field. Finally will be helped to his feet. And that was Hayes Creel. Creel, the starting right tackle, the transfer from McNeese. 3 seasons there. Takes pride in his work on the piano, and that time slow to get up. Number 75 in black and gold. Only 2 minutes into our fourth quarter. Time for Braxton underneath on second down. And Pittman able to lunge ahead for a gain of 9. It'll be third down and short.
We're saying, man, why aren't they throwing the ball down the field? Well, Mississippi State knows that Braylon Braxton wants to get it down the field as well. So they're playing a coverage where they're letting everything stay in front of them and forcing the check down.
Quarterback run on third down and across the 35. That'll move the chains. Jalen Smith, a tackle. All right, some credit Coleman Hutzler and this Mississippi State defense for the job done today. Keeping this roster in check so far. And movement. Everybody except the center.
False start. Offense, the entire line. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So Sam, just after getting the second first down of the second half for this offense, a penalty going backwards. I'm going to mention Coleman Hutzler by name again, the defensive play caller. He's got some assistance this year in terms of analysts. Paul Rhodes and Coach McIntyre coming in with head coaching experience, kind of anchoring things and shifting things for this Bulldogs defense. Jeff Lebby and Coach Hutzler mentioned their additions 2 times yesterday. A punch thrown, and trying to stiff arm was Jeffrey Pittman. A little aggression against Kelly Jones, but a big play, 37 yards.
Well, if I said it was a punch, it was supposed to be a stiff arm, but Jeffrey Pittman, the former Mississippi State Bulldog, is trying to get a little bit of get back for his team. Perfectly run screen by the offense as the defense is rushing up the field.
Braxton to the end zone, and incomplete. Chester broke free for a moment. Kelly Jones deep down the field again. Yeah, he cocked the arm back there for a minute for the anticipated stiff arm.
Trying to hit him with a Derrick Henry. And sometimes you want to, there is this level of aggression. There is a level of, man, y'all didn't want me, and I'm going to go to someone who does. I'm going to get out my aggression on the field. So I understand the passion from Pittman. He just didn't connect on the stiff arm.
And keep in mind, staying within the Magnolia State. Morris in motion, second down and 10. Braxton eludes the pressure initially, and then again. Still on his feet. Has a man open. Oh, he didn't see him breaking across the end zone. And that would have been 6. Boy, Robert Briggs was right near the goal line and jumping up and down, calling for the football.
Yeah, you're going to see Braylon Braxton avoid multiple rushers, multiple defenders. The one thing about Braxton is, yes, there was a receiver down the field. At this point, he's already thinking he's going to run. We talked with the coaching staff yesterday, and they mentioned how, one thing about Braxton, you might be open down the field, but when he gets his mind set to run it, he will.
Yeah, good point by you, as he took over the starting reins last year in Marshall. 8-0 as a starter after a gain of 4. He's got a first down and then some. Stop short of the 15 by Hunter Washington. Gain of 12 more.
Good play by by Braxton, but there was another opportunity. The running back on that broken play was open on somewhat of a wheel route. Braxton decided to run.
And a couple of deep breaths after extending 2 plays. On first down, here's the reverse. Metcalf against the grain and stood up, and a short gain. Bulldogs stayed home. Jerron Manning able to bring him down. Coming off the field was Carlos Slayton. And Luke Rogers now checking in. Jeff Lebby looking on. And they stopped it for a moment to allow the exchange. Rogers checks in at left guard. Handoff Briggs. They'll let the tackle. It'll be 3rd down. And if you're Southern Miss, you're thinking end zone here. A field goal is not going to help you out.
Field goal does nothing. You're thinking end zone, and the run game has been relatively effective. Braxton, not necessarily with his legs, but some of these inside runs on a 3rd and what seems like a pass could be effective.
Southern Miss will get Jackson State next week. A team that was predicted 5th in the Sun Belt West Division this year. Briggs in search of a crease, a small one. And on 3rd and 5, a gain of a couple. DJ Reed a tackle. It's 4th down.
You see Jeffrey Pittman running back in the game. The running back is running back into the game. And here's a situation where 4th and 3, I don't like a run play on this. I like keeping the ball in your quarterback's hands, a quick read, and then if he doesn't see it, let him take off and run.
Metcalf in motion, 3 receivers into the boundary. Braxton on the rollout, under duress. Pass is caught. And on 4th and 3, and the Bulldogs able to corral Jeffrey Pittman, and they come up with a stop. Mississippi State in control with possession of the football, leading 34-10 after this.
ESPN College Football is presented by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration.
Now the leg extension for the Hall of Famer Ray Guy, not only a former punter for Southern Miss, but a standout defensive back. The Gold Jacket immortalized forever in the NFL's Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Ray Guy on the stadium, old number 44, Sam Acho. New quarterback to tell you about for Mississippi State as the Bulldogs get it back 34-10. The advantage, the team out of the SEC. Luke Kromenhoek, the new signal caller as Blake Shapen's afternoon comes to a close. And Johnny Daniels, seen a lot of carries here in the second half. A 3-headed monster, if you will, with Devon Booth, Fluff Bothwell combined for 3 touchdowns. And Johnny Daniels.
1st down.
Bulldogs have overcome a large number of penalties offensively. Luke Kromenhoek, Florida State transfer out of Savannah, Georgia. 6'4", 220. 44 of 84 passing a season ago as Florida State's 2-10 campaign was underway with DJ Uiagalelei. Made the Chargers practice squad. Who's keeping score and track at home. Handoff on 1st and long. 1st and 14. Jaden McKinney a tackle.
And it's hard to understate the importance of this time for Luke Kromenhoek. Why? Because Blake Shapen has been injured historically, and so the fact that you're getting reps early in a season gets you ready for when it really matters.
Bulldogs will get Arizona State in Starkville in week 2. Primetime matchup next weekend. Garrett Ponder, tackle of Kromenhoek.
That'd be another great test because that Arizona State defensive line is dominant. So offensive line that is new for Mississippi State going against a really good defensive line. of Arizona State to go along with Sam Levitt at quarterback. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
A Big 12 champion ASU, playoff team last year, nearly upset Texas in the postseason. And a team I think that has been underrated in all of the preseason conversations. Almost nationwide. 3rd and long. Kromenhoek buys some time, skips ahead, and is able to pick up the first down. Well, weaving his way across the middle portion of the field. Number 17 able to do it. Pick up 13 yards on 3rd and long.
6'4", 220, but a good athlete. You wouldn't think that his size would make him that good of an athlete, but Kromenhoek sees that nothing's available. He avoids the pressure. The last thing I'd say is don't stay as upright. Try to get down so you can be available for your teammates.
Xavier Gayton on the field as the running back. That catch was clean right off the top of the turf by Marcus Allen. Sam, the other thing we've seen today, Kamario Taylor, was a 7-yard pickup. He's been on the field in special situations, short yardage, goal line. That's something else that Kenny Dillingham's going to have to prepare for, and the rest of the opponents on the MSU roster this season. Here's Gayton on 2nd and 3.
And I could see Mississippi State expanding Kamario Taylor's playbook, if you will. You saw him 2 or 3 times so far, but as the season goes along, you're going to want to see more and more of Kamario Taylor. He's too good of an athlete to keep off of the field.
Bulldogs had to get this win today. Arizona State next week, Alcorn State, Northern Illinois, and then into SEC play. It gets obviously a little bit more interesting. So handling your business today with the schedule to come, a lot of ranked foes on the slate, was priority number 1. Broken up at the last minute. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And I don't want to talk too much about it, but this is an opportunity to see who you are as a lot of new transfers. Yes, a lot of new players have come in. You've seen some penalties. You've seen some mistakes. You're not necessarily working out the mistakes here in real action, but you're really getting a view of who can handle the pressure and the bright lights.
Marshall and Georgia between the hedges when we are done in Hattiesburg. Kromenhoek tripped up crossing the 35. 24-point lead. The all-new ESPN app is the best way to watch sports. All of ESPN, all in one place with live games, live stats, plus you can track your fantasy teams and personalize your favorite leagues, teams, and players. Bulldogs 11 of 16 on 3rd down today, needing 5 yards here. Kromenhoek batted down by Joseph Harper.
That time Kromenhoek just was staring down his receiver, and so Harper sees it, gets his hands up. So that's a little bit of a time where you got to understand that in practice they're not allowed to bat it down, but in a real game they're going to bat it down. So that's when you want to change that arm angle or not stare down the receiver you're going to throw to.
4:57 to go. Southern Miss at least one more opportunity. And Kromenhoek, valuable playing time and snaps. Nathan Tice will punt it away from Mississippi State. And Elijah Metcalf standing at his 25.
Delay of game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Was the best punt we've seen all day. It was stopping inside the 5-yard line.
Jeff Lebby's goal was to try and run down as much time as possible without the penalty, but the operation on the field wasn't succinct enough to avoid that penalty. So I get it. You're trying to balance, get out of the game, run the clock down without the penalties.
Ohio State still with that 2-score lead against Texas at the Horseshoe, 14-0. A lot of people will be talking about what Texas hasn't done, at least up to this point. 34-10, just under 5 minutes remaining in Hattiesburg. So you're telling me there's a chance, Sam Acho. It's not over yet. Braylon Braxton back on the field, trailing 34-10. Another penalty flag flies. And the reception towards the 36.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. First down.
First catch for Shane King in his young career in Hattiesburg. We watched him in pregame warmups. He was a guy, at least I told you, Sam, I thought physically he passed the eye test. First and 20 with time winding down here at M.M. Roberts Stadium. I wonder during that last break if Braxton would stay on the field and Charles Huff content to run the football here. That's a roster that brought in 25 players, including walk-ons for Marshall, and a team that won the Sun Belt a season ago. Bigger picture here in Hattiesburg, you figure they're going to be a much better version of themselves. The team he inherited only won one game last season. But the Sun Belt typically is one of those leagues that can be wide open year in and year out. You bring in the championship pedigree. We'll see how it starts to develop here over time.
And you heard from Charles Huff in his interview with Taylor. He said about Mississippi State, he said, hey, they're a lot bigger than us. Well, when you start playing games in the Sun Belt, especially with the transfers you brought in, they're not going to be bigger than you. And so this is a game that is somewhat of a litmus test, but it's not over.
On third down, Braxton flings it. And the pass caught with a spin move by Chuck Montgomery. So one Marshall player to another now in Hattiesburg. First down. Just over 3 minutes to go.
Last year we saw Marshall play Ohio State early in the season. The game didn't go well, and they still won the Sun Belt. So saying it's not over means, okay, you know what you need to do to try and win this league.
Deep ball over the outside shoulder. And Davis Dalton, the penalty marker down. A common theme in this second half between these two.
26 of the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Go against Dwight Lewis III.
You see a lot of man-to-man defense from Southern Miss, and you're seeing a lot of penalties. That's something that they're going to need to clean up as, no, they're not an SEC play yet, still got a couple games to get there, but Arizona State's coming in, Jordan Tyson's coming in. They're watching this film as well, saying, okay, we can win. We think we can win in one-on-one.
Golden Eagles without a point in this second half. Pop pass to Montgomery, so back-to-back catches for him. And a flag lands on the yellow portion of the Eagle. And the logo at midfield. Tackle by LaKendrick James.
Holding. Defense. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, it's funny how things work. Directly after we conclude here in Hattiesburg between the hedges, Georgia and Marshall, the team once coached by Charles Huff. What we are told is a steaming hot afternoon in the Classic City. Fifth-ranked Georgia, quarterback Gunnar Stockton. You know the defense is going to be as strong as ever, but Kirby Smart's program, Sam, a little bit under the radar. Tony Gibson taking over for the Thundering Herd. It should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be. And you also heard there were some Marshall players who said, hey, man, this is when we want to play Georgia. They don't know who we are. We don't know who they are. They have a new starting quarterback in Gunnar Stockton. So there's a little bit of trash talk going on that side as well.
Under 2.5 to play here in week one. And Mississippi State
the ruling on the
step
field
in the right direction.
Pass. The previous play is under video review.
And they're going to take a look at that last play. The microphone on the field has been in and out today. Grant Page, 13 for Southern Miss. Jeff Lebby not excited about that.
Looks like a catch, but he has to maintain control and possession. It looks like he bobbled it. So he didn't maintain possession of the ball. So good job by replay going back to look at that. They called it a completion. Looks like one, but he has to be able to tuck that ball in, and it's not tucked in. He's bobbling it even as he goes out of bounds. And it hits the ground, looks like.
Let's bring in our rules analyst, Jerry McGinn. Jerry, did you see a completed action of a clean catch near the sideline?
I agree with Sam. The receiver never had full possession of the ball. It was bobbling. So I think this is a great stop by replay, and they'll reverse it and make it an incomplete pass.
Ken Switzer in the replay booth this afternoon. He stopped by to chat with us pregame. Always great to see. Nothing signals the start of the season. The chat and conversation, the replay official, always great.
The receiver did not have control of the ball prior to going out of bounds. Incomplete pass, second down.
Well, the call overturned, and the pass ruled incomplete. Sam Acho, postseason form, not midseason.
No, it's good to be back. I know we're talking about some of the games that are going on in this game as well, but being down on the field, it's so fun to be back in college football. I understand we had week 0 last week, and there were some games on Thursday or Friday, but a full slate of games this weekend, it's a blast.
Pass ruled incomplete, 2:23 to go, 2nd and 10 for Southern Miss. Seen a lot of Robert Briggs in the second half for the Golden Eagles. We'll regroup and get Jackson State next week. And then an Appalachian State team that looked pretty good last night in a win at Charlotte. You always think about the Mountaineers program, and they also play their home games at the Rock up there in Boone. That'll tell us a lot about the direction early in the season, not only for Southern Miss, but of course for App as well.
Yeah, that's the best thing about games like these. Yes, you feel like you're out of it, but you know that your conference games matter as well.
34-10, the Bulldogs on the road, off and running to start 2025. So the Buckeyes, week 1, protecting home turf and just the 5th ever meeting the Texas Longhorns. 34-10 back in Hattiesburg. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott. ESPN College Football presented by Serve Pro. Braxton, Briggs, and the B&B yields a couple. It'll be 4th down.
I'm a little bit surprised by that result, the Texas-Ohio State game.
So low scoring?
So low scoring, yes, and the Ohio State defense losing so many starters to the NFL, lost 8 different starters. Matt Patricia did a great job getting those guys ready.
This has been the kickoff week presented by Modelo. On 4th down, Braxton escapes straight ahead and lunging for first down yardage. Kendrick James able to bring him down. He was in the area, and the drive continues on what should be the final possession of this one. Unless the Golden Eagles can strike quickly. About a point in the second half. That has been the story, the renaissance of this Mississippi State defense. Back corner. Penalty marker flies in. Grant Page was open. And the coverage by Cyrus Reyes. Pass interference coming.
Pass interference. Defense number 19. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Great job by Braylon Braxton, number 1, avoiding pressure to find, at least give his receiver, Grant Page, an opportunity. Sometimes you have to get the ball down the field, and you're going to give your guy a chance because the defense doesn't have his eyes turned around, either going to be a touchdown or a penalty.
Bulldogs now with 14 penalties today. Certainly a topic of conversation for Jeff Lebby and crew in the film room tomorrow, getting ready for Arizona State. Matt Jones tripped up near the 10. What is that like as a player when you know going in, all right, we won, that's great, but we were sloppy and we had all those penalties?
Well, there's two parts. The first piece is you're happy that you won because it's hard to win, period. The second piece is you know you're not going to be able to continue to win if you play the way you played.
Instructional moments for Mississippi State. Wide open and coming down cleanly with a football for the touchdown T.J. Johnson. Transfer from West Virginia, and his first touchdown.
T.J. Johnson just gets lost in coverage. He's in the corner of the end zone. No one's around him. Great job getting his foot down. It looked a little bit close. That inside foot might have hit right around the same time, but Mississippi State lost Johnson in the coverage.
Well, his dad, Tony Sr., a tight end at West Virginia, played in 3 games there in Morgantown and now in Southern Miss. Check to make sure that he got that first foot in bounds before the second one came down out of bounds. Good catch by you, and Southern Miss showing that they will go for the extra point. Not easy to do, to tap dance and make sure you have possession, it's clean, complete the catch, and have the foot in bounds. 34-17. Bulldogs with just 33 seconds to go. This afternoon started the Mississippi State cheerleaders honoring ESPN's College Game Day in the final telecast of Lee Corso. A little bit of a slow start offensively, a 3-point lead at halftime, and then here comes the ground game, ground and pound with Devon Booth and Fluff Bothwell. A little B&B to the end zone. They accounted for 3 scores.
They finally started to lean on this Southern Miss defensive line, use their size, their strength of the offensive line, and the running backs Booth and Bothwell did the rest.
A lot of conversation this week. True tests in Starkville and Arizona State, a top 15 team and a playoff contender. Kenny Dillingham certainly going to watch the film here and see those 185 rush yards put up. B&B, and let's find out next week. A little SEC versus Big 12 prime time. Hands team on the field, and that kickoff will bounce out of bounds. Last question for you in terms of the prognostication. We've got Alabama FSU. Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback for the Seminoles, transferring in from BC. Joe Campbell fully renovated. It's going to be loud. The Seminoles have a chance to pull off an upset.
I don't think so. I understand that there's a new starting quarterback at Alabama, but I think with all that's new in Florida State, 8 transfers starting on offense, 1 true freshman, I think it's hard to gel early, especially with the defensive line of Alabama and some of the strength that's there.
Ty Simpson checks in. Check the record of Kalen DeBoer in year 2 from NAIA to D1. Wherever he's been, he's won big. I tend to agree. Mario Taylor, the quarterback, 3rd signal caller we've seen. 3rd time he's been on the field today in what could be the final play of this game. Well, the Magnolia State matchup in favor of the team from Starkville, and out of the SEC, Mississippi State. Head coach Jeff Lebby in a must-win to start his 2nd year. They find a way with a strong second half, and for Charles Huff, back to the drawing board as Jackson State comes to town next week. And these 2 programs connected in a variety of different ways. Lebby and Huff getting set to shake hands and exchange pleasantries at midfield.
Congratulations to Mississippi State on getting a win. 2-win team last season. They're on their way to a better year this year. Proud of those guys.
Taylor Davis, Sam Acho. I'm Roy Philpott. We say good afternoon from Hattiesburg. Georgia and Marshall coming up now.